Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak.
Hi, my name is Paul Caroli, and I host a podcast called Changing Denver. It's a monthly show about our city's physical spaces, how we make them, and how they make us. But it's so much more than that. It's the conversations, ideas, and stories that define Denver's perpetual state of flux. Find more from our team at changingdenver.com and join the conversation on Twitter at changingdenver. Denver's changing. We can help.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Ed Kramer, CGI artist from Industrial Light and Magic. I worked on the Scarabs from The Mummy, the Rock Monster from Galaxy Quest, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Pop Culture Con, and also celebrating our 400th episode live at the Bug Theater May 6th. And we already have like a quarter of the room saying they're coming.
They're interested, which means half will actually come.
Yes. And half of them really know us.
Yep.
Like our moms. And I think my mom would be embarrassed to see me up there.
Yeah, I think she's going to make it.
Probably not.
She just sends like a telegram. Dear son, could not make it.
Oh, that'd be
Other
sweet. She did send me a telegram, and and they'd have to pull it off like a machine and be like, "We got it fresh off here."
Oh God, it would be great if it was a singing telegram.
Is that how they do in the newspaper industry? You still get teletype and you like rip it off and like this goes on the front page.
Yeah, they
What's
built
teletype?
Oh my God.
They have a
So
special
I guess to
computer.
answer your question, no.
Haven't you seen His Girl Friday?
No,
the front page.
not the whole
And-
thing.
and-
We talked
and-
about this one time when I was on here.
Yeah, but you should really see that movie because it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Watch some old newspaper movies. They're fun.
I tried watching it and I just couldn't.
Like, remember when all the reporters like, "Hey, keep it down there," and then the bad guys shoot the machine guns at him? It's
Yep.
awesome.
And then they hide that guy in a desk. It's amazing. Watch His Girl Friday, guys. It's
Yeah.
pretty fucking.
I don't know if you know, it
incredible.
stars the suavest motherfucker around named Cary Grant.
Oh yeah, that guy too. Rosalind Russell though,
great
badass
in
female
it.
reporter. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what.
She didn't take no guff from nobody.
Yeah. Also, Philadelphia Story is a good. Not Philadelphia Story. Sorry, Woman of the Year. Very good newspaper movie. Not really about newspapering, but a lot of newspapering in it.
Yeah. Hey, we talk about movies on this show. Every week we go see a new movie. We podcast our experience of the world. This week we saw Captain Marvel.
Sam Jackson v. Cat Dawn of Adorable.
Stay tuned, and we will tell you if you should see the film or not, play the trailer, and then spoil the film. And, of course, because it's a Marvel movie, there is spoilers in this review.
Spoilers, post-credit sequences,
And tributes.
cameos.
Lousy, making me cry before the movie starts.
Yeah. That broke the record for me for quickest cry, which was previously upheld by Up 9 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You're all so weak.
Yeah, I know.
Well, here's the thing: is like they showed the preview for Spider-Man before mine too. I'm like, oh, there's Mysterio with a globe on his head.
You might want to stay out of this. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to do it anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal. Kaboom.
Okay.
Kellen's talking about putting something on a building. We'll also talk about movie news, movies we've been watching, movies that are coming out that you might want to purchase. What else is going to? Brad designed a sweet ass Mad Max Fury Road T-shirt. They'll never see the light of day.
I know.
Aww.
Disappointing.
Wow, just hear the room, dude. Just
Sad face.
deflated the room.
No,
Take that-
it's awesome, and I'm looking at it and going like, we'll never have the money to make this.
You think they give us a discount because we've bought shirts from them so many times?
But we're one
Y'all
of
have a
many
Patreon?
people that probably buy from them. Do we have enough fans to warrant a Patreon?
Yeah.
I ain't contributing.
We got 500 likes. I think about 100 of those people will give us $1 a month. It's $100 a month for T-shirts.
Hey, we got.
No,
Actually, I want to give a
website.
shout out to Ryan Neal. He did send us a loot crate that I forgot to bring to show to you guys, so you can pick some loot from it.
Loot from the
I'm
loot
trying to
crate?
think there isn't one.
Oh no! I swear it's there. Let me show you my really sweet new Predator glass that I got.
Wait a second, it says loot crate on it.
All the cool stuff's already gone.
Yeah. So thanks Ryan for sending that to us, and thanks actually sent us a really nice email too about thanking us. So, thank you.
But back on the shirts, we do have a shirt we are printing. So I've already sent. We've picked that we put online. We asked the fans to vote on 3 designs. One of them looked like dicks.
I don't know if you
So
know
I
this, that's
quickly
what we
revised
are.
that. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was the joke, guys.
Yeah.
The flux capacitor.
But yeah, it is a representative of what we call the flux capacitor. It holds all the swears from this podcast. But
1.21 fuckawatts.
but it won't be the exclusive shirt. We actually have a different exclusive in the works. As soon as I get a freaking quote back.
But we can't talk about it right now, guys.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it.
But it'll be a one-size-fits-all type thing.
First rule of exclusives: never talk about exclusives.
So
Well, we
Fight Club
learned
reference.
last
Was it a
year
hat?
that we burned through our men's shirts, and then we still have. Hey, if you're looking for a sweet Real Nerd shirt from last year, we have women's size. What sizes do we have in women's?
probably one of everything at this,
One of everything.
Yeah, one of everything.
which we can't sell because it was exclusive to last year's con.
We can't bring it in and sell it. Is there a law? I haven't read the rules. Is there a rule behind it?
Oh, I cannot wait for Denver Pop Culture Con police.
Well, I don't think the Comic Con's gonna enforce it, but all the people who asked me is like, if I buy this, are you gonna sell these elsewhere?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And I was like, I promised them I wouldn't. So, but I'm like, if we bring it to Denver Comic Con, it's still a Comic Con sale.
Or you could do a giveaway at the show.
No, hey, end this part out. Oh, we actually just found a box of female-sized Real Nerd shirts from last year. Very small run, but yeah. Actually,
Anyway.
we sold our last male shirt, like at the very end of the con. Andre Gower from the Monster Squad bought our last.
Oh, he got the last one?
He got the last one.
Oh, fucking A.
Yep.
Right on. Nice.
and we have our booth.
And we have our booth.
Yeah, 102.
102.
Right next to Alamo Draft House.
Yep.
Nice.
So we're better.
We'll be there with our towering sign, and Alamo will have their glasses and their pens and their
reputation
mints.
for showing great movies and serving great food.
Yeah. Idiots. Anyways, I love the Alamo Draft House. I was bummed I didn't see Captain Marvel there.
What are you doing? Where's your life gone wrong, man?
I have a wife and a kid.
Oh, so,
And then-
so that's the pinpoint.
And then on my way to go see the movie, so I was going to see it at 9 in the morning. I turn onto my. I'm leaving, and I turn onto like the street, and my car starts like the steering wheel won't go back. I'm like, motherfucker! So I get out, and my back left tire is like completely flat. And so
terrible.
I guess there's some sort of nail in it, so I had to get that patched. So I had to run down there and see it before my wife had to go to work. And yep, and that's where we're at.
yeah. And then there's a shaking of a bag.
Yep,
That happened at some point.
yep.
Well, that sucks. Sucks about the tire, especially.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, that just sucks. I hated whenever, like when I did drive, like whenever I got a flat tire, it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, the one thing is, so I know the tow guys in town, obviously because I work with them.
Because
So-
you arrest them frequently.
No, because so as a police officer, I use their service a lot because
like,
of
impounded
impounded
cars.
cars and stuff,
Crashes.
crashes.
They're like the cue to your James Bond. They
yes.
fix.
So I called them because it was flat, and I go, man, I'll just put on this spare tire and I'll drive it to the tow yard and have them patch up this tire. I'm like, I really don't want to put on this spare. So I called them like, hey, can you guys come get my car? Like, oh yeah, we have like a portable like air thing. So they came out and filled up my tire, and I took it there because I really didn't want to change the tire
Nice.
because it sucks,
Nice.
especially like in the middle of a road.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I didn't want to drive it anymore because it's so flat. Anyways, Corinne, how's your week going?
Fine. Staying busy.
Yeah, what are you working on right now?
It's everything.
You know, I almost expected to see you on Thursday night for our community meeting about the football field.
Yeah, one of my coworkers covered that because I was at the Marvel fan event.
Nice. Good for you.
There you go.
Way better.
Oh, yeah.
I had to be there because the chief was worried because people were being really like crazy on the internet. So I'm like, oh man, am I really gonna have to break up a fight in a town hall meeting?
I heard it was relatively civil.
It was until a certain person got up and was very impassioned about why we need to sell the football field, and then some people were like, a local landmark.
I liked the suggestion that Brad put on our thread, which was just monorail.
I know. That's all I could think of. I really so the school board told me that it was going to be like a professional like presentation. So I'm like, oh, that would be sweet if it was like that's all I was thinking of is monorail. And it's just some dude with PowerPoint that had 3 slides. It was
You know, Idaho Springs with money is like a mule with a spinning wheel.
and I know people are passionate about it, but they'd get up and say Idaho Springs is known for 3 things: Bojo's,
A mine.
something else, and the
Gold
football
Rush.
field. I'm like, a football field?
It is apparently a very well-known field because it's right next to I-70.
Yeah.
What was the impassioned argument for selling it?
Well, they want to
Bring revenue to the
wanna
town and
They want to
more
build
housing.
affordable housing, so they want to have
Well, not affordable housing,
Yeah,
but
no one builds affordable housing.
affordable housing.
Yeah, let me preface that with air quotes: affordable housing.
The development team is Bluth family.
Yeah, so they have. There's an old. This is really boring. There's an old high school across the highway that was full of asbestos, and the district uses 500 square feet of it for their offices. The rest of this huge building is not used at all. So they're trying to sell that. And developer said, well, if you sell that, we want the football field too. So
And the bus barn.
And the bus barn, where the buses park. So they want to basically just redevelop that whole area.
It just pictures in my head of a man with a big Texas hat on and a big white suit going, I'm shutting this football program down.
Well,
Well,
here's
they
the thing.
have a field
They
at the
have
high school,
There's a brand new field at the high school.
but they just don't use it.
It doesn't matter. That bad guy's more fun to boo at.
I know. And I as an officer, I can't have a political view at all.
Yeah, no.
Obviously. But I'm just sitting there. I said, but it's used 4 times a year, and these people are getting up and saying, "Well, I want the kids to be able to the kids play on it." I said, that place is padlocked. No one can play on it. If they jump the fence, I'm getting called out there for trespassing.
Well, my suggestion was because there's less and less public space. Why not turn it into just a park?
Well, I think they are
That
wanting
people
to
would go to.
incorporate
So
green
part
space
of
into the design.
You're right. So part of the comprehensive plan for the city is if they do that, they have to make a park there too. So there has to be. If you build something in the city, there also has to be room for green space. So I don't know. I get both sides. I mean, the football field is falling apart. It's not even like regulation with sidelines on the side. So there's arguments for both, and what I think is eventually someone's going to buy it anyways. So you might as well just make sure that you get something that will help the city look better. But what do I know?
In Idaho Springs, a city torn apart.
Because really, the only part that I care about that they don't mess with is Minor Street, which all the buildings are from like the 1800s on it. Don't change that.
Yeah, exactly.
Make everything else nice, especially like on the east side of town where they have like the slummy motels and hotels. Rip those out and put like a Holiday Inn Express out there.
But then where will Norman Bates get all of his money to live?
Well, I mean, the highway
He's
still
got to take
goes
care
right
of his
through
mom. Oh, yeah.
The highway
The
goes
highway.
through
Like, nobody ever comes here anymore because the highway's, like, interfered with the entrance to Bates Motel.
Yeah.
It's the same with Idaho Springs.
it. Yes.
Can we start our own new game called Cyber Football and take over and make it big like the NFL, and then
Hell yeah.
take over the field?
Let's do it. It'll be the CYFL. Can't be the CFL because there's a Canadian football.
We should get
league.
Vince McMahon to run it. He's good at doing things like that, right?
No, he's busy with the XFL's coming.
Yeah, XFL's coming back. Anyway, do we talk about football fields that are about to be destroyed by greedy developers?
Well, we
or-
just have, Ace Reporter.
And,
here, so-
Ace reporter Corinne.
East reporter.
Do you wear a hat that has like press on it? That'd be so cool.
You should.
I do have a
Just
press
do it.
pass, but
You should like stick it in your hat, like old school style. I know you don't. I just have that dream.
And then you and
Well, then you can join our staff, Ryan.
and then
I'm going to.
And then you and 3 other Muppets could sing "Hey, a movie" from the Great Muppet Caper, and it'd be amazing.
Do you need contributors to your newspaper?
I mean, we're always looking for freelancers.
Sweet.
What if I
Wanna
just show up to a
freelance.
town hall with a hat with a press card in it
Yes.
and don't talk to anybody?
Hi, Brad from the Brad Gazette.
I'm not a reporter. I'm just here.
Hi,
wear-
I'm
I
not a
wear this hat
reporter. I
everywhere.
just really like this outfit.
Kellen says he's going to put his coat on his hanger and then put on his hat, and it's really funny.
One more, Brad. Question for the senator here: do I look good in this? Anyway,
What organization are you from? Why do people keep asking me that? Like, I'm just wearing a hat with a press card in it.
look,
It's the style, man.
look, you dress the way you want to dress. I dress the way I want to dress. It's a free country.
My First Amendment right to wear this press hat.
It does seem like something some like obscure hipster thing would do.
Freedom of expression and freedom of the press.
We did get one of those suggestions
Freedom of fashion.
from one of the
Wait, what?
citizens of Idaho Springs. Said, what if I take a couple of my friends and we go around and see what it costs for us to fix the park for free and volunteer? Like, nope. I trust you, hippie dude.
To see what it costs to fix it for free.
Yeah. No, he's going to get a couple of his friends and they're going to fix it up. Nice.
I'm just saying,
Hey.
it costs nothing if you're going to do it for free, dude.
Yep. And you just sit there and, like, I'm just in the back in my police uniform and I just blink like Homer when he doesn't understand stuff, just really slowly. Because I don't know what's going on.
Used to send back into the bush just like Homer Simpson.
And it was really funny because he had like this victory thing, so he set his piece because they opened it up to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to get people to help me, and we'll fix it for free." And he had like a mic drop moment. He like got up and left and didn't listen to anybody else.
I respect.
I'm here for the free pizza.
Oh, there was pizza?
There was.
That's nice.
Yeah, from Bojo's.
Now you should have gone, Corinne.
Part of what Idaho Springs is known for.
Oh, yeah.
No, you should have gone to Captain Marvel.
I should have gone to this
my meetings
meeting,
I
and
go
I
to
have no
ever have
stake in this
pizza.
football field. I just want
Really?
Bojo's for
Yeah.
free.
I'm lucky if I get cookies out of the deal.
Man.
You should.
So you need to be
Bullshit.
hooked up by the Carlton PTSA. What?
I want to start a trend where we give journalists free cookies. I think that'd be a good idea.
My waistline probably wouldn't agree with that.
Is that a Simpsons gag or a South Park gag where, like, they're having some kind of town hall and then there's, like, one guy left and, like, at least that guy stayed. It's like, no, I was just in the neighborhood and then I
think it's South Park.
That sounds like a South Park gag.
No, I think that's Simpsons. He's like, no, I just didn't know. where
I
else.
stopped to use the bathroom.
Yeah. That's why I think it's Simpsons. Anyway,
Good job.
I don't remember.
Damn
Hey,
it.
movie news.
It's real news.
I would say around town with Brad, but
Brad or Ryan, sorry, do you want a new Nightbreed 3-hour cut?
yes.
Apparently, that's in the works. If anybody doesn't know, Clive Barker's Nightbreed had a bunch of different cuts over the years, and now apparently they're working on a longer 3-hour cut. There's already a director's cut that's like about 2 hours ish or something like
I
that.
think it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Oh no, I have the
Yeah,
Screen
and then
Factory
the
and
theatrical
whatnot.
version is like 109 minutes and stuff like that. So I've only seen the theatrical version once. I still have not gotten the Scream copy, mainly because it's a limited edition that's sold out everywhere.
Can you not get the regular? Because I didn't get the limited edition one because I thought it was.
You
too
can still get the
expensive.
director's cut. The limited edition has the theatrical cut on it too, which is the reason I'd want it. It's the same with the whole. It's the same thing with Life Force, where I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get Life Force if I can't have both versions because I like watching that compare and contrast. And also I'm just a picky nerd, so what are you gonna do? But anyway, that's apparently in the works. We are going to also be, this is a kind of a tied into Blu-ray news, but we're going to be getting Rian Johnson's Brick on Blu-ray for the first time in the U.S. this May. So,
What do you think of that, James?
Nope, James is not here to answer, but I'm sure he's excited somewhere. Oh, wait. You hear that? You hear that? Yeah, that's James screaming with excitement right there.
He got so excited he stubbed his toe, and that's why he couldn't make it.
We've got some sequel news, like Sherlock Holmes has been delayed till 2021, but that means apparently that it's, as of now, still in the works, so I would like a Sherlock Holmes 3, guys. Please give that
Where
to
if you
me.
go to Robert Downey Jr.'s IMDb page, his like upcoming projects is like 8.
I just want to see him keep his bees. just let.
Oh, I
Sherlock
would
be
love
happy.
a version of Mr. Holmes, but with Robert Downey Jr. instead of.
I'm calling it right
Felix
now.
Leiter.
Robert Downey Jr. is the greatest version of Sherlock Holmes.
Basil
Sherlock Holmes
Rath.
3.
Basil
Bees of the
Rathbone.
basket.
I'm waiting for someone to yell.
Basil Rathbone. But anyway, Jason Blum's been talking a lot about sequels that won't happen. Among them was Sinister 2, where he said it's probably not going to happen, but we want to incorporate the villain into something
Sinister
else.
2 already exists.
No, not Sinister. I'm sorry, Sinister 3. He says there won't be a Sinister 3. Now, the box office on Sinister 2 was lower than the first Sinister, so that's understandable. It also looks like the same thing's going to be said about Happy Death Day 3, which he's saying that it's like it was still positive, but the box office isn't showing that there's going to be a third one, which sucks because I liked Happy Death Day 2. And I would love to see that story continue because at this point it's not really a horror series. It's more of a comedy series that has horrifying elements in it. So yeah, that sucks. Candyman reboot that Jordan Peele's producing has cast its Candyman, and it is I believe the guy who plays Manta from Aquaman. I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. So
Sure.
He was great in Aquaman. So I would love to see him play the Candyman.
There's great things in Aquaman. I'd
Well,
say good.
You know what? He was fine with the things he was given to do. It is not his fault that he didn't get that much to do in it, which sucks.
They're not mine. They're his.
I mean, if you don't swallow the pennies, you are welcome to play with the pennies.
If you do it on the floor.
We got some Netflix news. Looks like Netflix is going to break with its stance and give Martin Scorsese's film The Irishman a wide theatrical release, probably because they wanted to win Oscars in the coming year.
Steven Spielberg wins.
Which has been another part of the news, which is Steven Spielberg said something about a proposal to widen Netflix's theatrical release window, and it turned the internet upside down. Now the whole conversation has turned into, well, Netflix shouldn't have to put anything in a theater, or Netflix should be putting its shit in the theater. And I don't think what Spielberg's proposing is preposterous. I think the conversation's turned into a weird old people versus young people battle that I disagree with.
Well, the problem is the Academy is a bunch of old fogies. It doesn't matter. So
Right, but do you want to lose the theatrical experience at all? Because if Netflix succeeds, it will go away within the next 50 years.
There was also another article that said
do you really think? Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
that Spielberg was misquoted, and he didn't say any of that shit at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not going to the Academy or anything to do anything
Oh, really?
about anything.
There was a whole...
Well, and theaters won't go away because I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, you can have Netflix and all that stuff, but case in point, I mean, Captain Marvel's going to make $170 million in one weekend. I think they're okay.
But I'd like to still see some indie stuff there. I don't want it to just be like big box office bonanzas. So
Yeah.
so that's where the thing lies. And then lastly, Captain Marvel hit a controversy with Rotten Tomatoes because
really?
the internet sucks. Audience score for Captain Marvel was at 33% within, I don't know, 18 hours of the film being fucking released. So there was a big troll attack on the thing, and Ryan Johnson said it best on Twitter when he reposted that article and said, so this low audience score is basically the new Certified Fresh, which I think is a fun little catty comment that is very accurate.
Well, we live in a society right now where people are extremely threatened by whatever, the other side. So we're extremely divided about stuff that doesn't matter. I mean, literally, Brie Larson said she asked if she could have a female reporter interview her, and then you have dudes who like freak out about it, and it doesn't matter because it still made $170 million this weekend.
Yep.
Because it has no bearing on how
Wait,
good the film-
170?
Yeah.
No, 107. You said 170.
Yeah, 170.
That's like more than the Avengers.
That'd be worldwide and
no, wait,
No,
that's
it's
200.
No, it's in the United States. We can look that up right now. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
My fantasy movie league must be huge.
Well, I think it's projected. I think right now it's projected since the weekend's still going on.
Yeah.
Projected right now 150 million plus because they don't know.
right.
Because it made $61 million on Friday alone.
Yeah, but so yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about more on Captain Marvel, but I don't really think I can trust audience scores anymore.
I don't
obviously,
trust critic scores.
Yeah, I do because they actually break down their arguments eloquently, and the user reviews don't.
Yeah, but which ones are getting like checks to
Well, we get paid by Marvel
glowing
every
reviews.
week, don't we, guys? We get a really nice check from Marvel, don't we? No.
See, well,
we're small potatoes.
I know. So, but I also agree sometimes that the critics don't, because if they also play a role in this, where just because you don't get it doesn't mean it's not a good movie. And I mean, I can point to even Entertainment Weekly's review for Captain Marvel. The guy who's writing it, he's talking about how great it is, and he's like, and then what's this origin story? So you don't understand it because you're some snobby critic. It doesn't take away from it being a good movie, and they have that. That's why I'm always shocked when stuff like Fury Road does really well, because that's a genre picture where it's literally people driving from one side to another that has awesome imagery and awesome set pieces
And has stuff to dissect.
Yeah, and
you can dissect Mad Max Fury Road within the context of this generation and other generations because it's a layered film.
But you can sit there and
you could do the same thing with Captain Marvel.
You can.
So
the most recent review of Captain Marvel I actually read was Captain Marvel review, and they didn't talk about the plot of the movie at all. It was just about the cultural significance of it now.
Yeah, and so this is totally off topic, but because Rod Stewart's my favorite artist, a lot of his reviews, they don't review the music in it. They review him from 1978 when he was wearing leopard print spandex.
They do tend to draw back to the past rather than.
And I can guarantee you, anytime a new Rod Stewart album comes out, one headline guarantee will be like, "Do you still think he's sexy?" And so they don't review the music; they review the person. And if you go,
I'm sorry, that headline's dumb.
And just to prove how dumb people are, Rolling Stone, when that came out, said at no point has one artist single-handedly destroyed his career based on this one song. And the only reason I think that is because it's the most popular disco song of all time.
Right.
However, now if you get Rolling Stone's top 500 songs of all time, guess what's in that right there is "Do You Think I'm Sexy?"
Yeah.
So it's subjective, and they're not reviewing the work, and that's my problem with sometimes what Brad just pointed out. It's, well, Brie Larson's making an empowered statement about women and superheroes. Why don't you just review the fucking movie about what she's doing in the movie?
Well, I appreciate that they're proud that she is making a stand and she is breaking ground, at least in the context of Marvel.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with her asking for a female reporter
No,
to
there
do
isn't.
a piece on her.
Not at all. No, she should. Shoot, ask a dog journalist, whatever. For all I care, she's standing up for herself, and people are angry that she's standing up for herself, which I don't fucking get.
Well, that's just because we just had an election where we just proved that America is more racist and sexist than we want to believe.
Agreed.
So,
yep.
Moving on.
Last piece of news is kind of interesting. The Simpsons pulled its Michael Jackson episode from circulation. This is
Lisa.
Yeah. This is all due to the mainly due to the release of HBO's documentary Leaving Neverland, which is a 2-part documentary.
There's only some way I could watch that episode. Some way.
Hey, I have the DVDs. Do you want to borrow them?
Oh, no worry. Don't worry, Brad. I have them too, so I can watch that whenever I want.
Good man.
Right. I'm not necessarily clamoring to go back to that episode now after all this stuff. But the bottom line though is this does kind of point to the importance of still DVDs, because just because you pulled it from streaming and network circulation, there was a disc made for it. They said in the article that any further reprint or reissue of the DVD will not have that episode. But
Are
I'm
they
like,
ever gonna reissue the DVD?
That was my question when I read that in the article. I'm like, they're not going to reissue it again on DVD.
Well, here's the thing: is if it's true, it's horrible. However, the dude's dead, so he can't defend himself anymore. And I don't know. I haven't seen the documentary, which I'm meaning to see, but I also have to gear up to see something like that. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it.
I appreciated James L. Brooks' statement on it, which is just it seems like the right thing to do right at the current moment.
That's fine.
And they've got 500 to 600 other episodes anyway, so it's not like this is the end of the world, guys.
Man, I wonder if they're still going to show Roman Polanski films on fucking FXX or Fox or something owned by Fox.
But it's Brooks's engravings and Brooks's engravings decision to
I
do
understand
that.
But what fights are you going to pick?
You know what's weird is
they've been embattled in a bunch of different things
I get
lately. Yeah.
for years they denied that was Michael Jackson on the episode too.
Yeah, and
I
then-
think I remember it's
Even
maybe-
on the DVD.
I think maybe last year is when they finally admitted it was him.
Right. Yeah, we talked about it on the show, and then
So if they just kept going with that,
yeah,
they
but-
would have avoided this.
But I'm completely empathetic to both sides on this because it's just it's an
There's-
episode of TV that a lot of people enjoyed.
Yeah, and I never want to see someone be a victim of something like that.
No, not at
it's
all.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you can't you can't prove either one.
I mean that's a whole other discussion of debate.
Yeah.
The point is,
you can't prove that Roman Polanski did it because he admitted to it.
Yeah, no,
but
we
the
can
fact
admit
that he
that.
still has Criterions come out, that he still is like considered one of the greatest things. There's a double standard there that's really not cool.
you know what? It's okay because Criterion also puts a lot of money into those Cary Grant movies, so I'm willing to overlook that right now. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guess what? He did make a lot of several Oscar-winning movies. That is unfortunately part of the lexicon, no matter
So
what.
okay, I'll stop you there. So Michael Jackson made a Simpsons episode and made maybe considered some of the greatest albums of all time. So we're just going to get rid of those two.
But I'm respecting James L. Brooks' and Matt Groening's decision to pull it. Criterion hasn't said we're going to pull it because
they won't.
because they say something different. I said unfortunately, his films are a part of cinematic culture, and unfortunately, there's people who will defend that over the situation in which
People are defending
Polanski is
Michael
guilty.
Jackson.
What? Yep, people are defending Michael Jackson. Again,
saying, it's-
I'm not here to discuss. Like they both probably did terrible things, especially Polanski, because we know he did terrible things because he admitted to it.
Weezer just covered Billie Jean.
I know.
That just came out.
I know, it just came out. I guess
So.
we can listen to Weezer's Billie Jean.
They might pull it.
Well, and that one, yeah. Can you get that on a physical copy yet?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in my mail right now, actually. So
But anyway, controversy everywhere. But that's news.
Brie Larson's great.
She is great. She's wonderful. We'll talk about her in a movie that came out this week.
Movies come out on Blu-ray in a segment called Physical Media. We need it to watch episodes of The Simpsons that they're going to pull from streaming.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
4K release of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them coming out to you this week.
Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, sorry. Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, whatever. I wasn't a fan of this new one. But you can pick it up on 4K Blu-ray.
Well, I think they have like a director's cut on there. I'm interested.
I didn't see
I
that.
I really like
It's not
Eddie
labeling
Redmayne a lot, and
He's
it's hard for me to
fine.
hate that movie.
He's fine.
It's not.
he's-
It's the weakest Harry Potter movie, but it's hard for me to hate the
Yeah,
movie.
he's not the problem, and Johnny Depp's not even the problem.
No,
It's
Johnny
that-
Depp's not the problem at all.
It's the story. It's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing a director's cut thing here. But I guess this one that I'm looking at, which is just the triangle, the Elder Wand tattoo, is the Steelbook. But I don't know. It's not labeling it a bunch. Oh, here you go. Extended cut.
Yeah.
There we go. Also, Oscar winner Green Book. You can get it on 4K and Blu-ray. Yeah.
That sounds like one I'll probably get on Redbox.
Yeah. Watch it.
Because I've heard good and bad things about it. So
It's such a weird discussion to have. I saw it in the theater, and I was very clear, like, it's not that it's not enjoyable. It's just it's telling the same fucking story all over again. So,
I think it's weird that it's 30 years after Driving Miss Daisy. Like,
yeah,
that is really weird.
exactly.
a case for history repeating itself.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
real.
Yeah, it's just that's part of the frustration. But also, you can pick up Mortal Engines in 4K. Did anybody see Mortal Engines in theaters?
What?
Well, you should get it on 4K so that you can make up for that egregious error.
Is that the one that was the Peter Jackson movie?
No, it's Christian Rivers,
Well,
his
Peter
production
Jackson,
designer,
like,
produced it.
But it was
it,
like
yeah.
the one where the cities are like,
Howl's Moving Castle, but live action.
except probably worse.
And with Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, who's
Hugo
too good to
Weaving's
be
in
in
that?
Avengers Infinity War.
It required a sacrifice to be in Mortal Engines. From Criterion, you can get the Harold Lloyd film The Kid Brother, which looks like lots of
I
fun.
like Harold Lloyd.
Yeah, I do. He's among the top silent comedians of the era. Also, Shout Select's putting out Someone to Watch Over Me, which I've never heard of. It's got Mimi Rogers and Tom Berenger in it. So, yeah. I like Tom Berenger and things.
That has to be like a early 90s, late 80s
It
movie.
looks like it. Did you see the cover? It looks like it's like a stream of light separating people, like because something mysterious is happening. You can also get on Blu-ray. I think this is from like Kino or something like that. Man's Best Friend with
That's
Ali
Scream.
Sheedy.
That's Scream Factory.
Scream's putting it out. Oh fucking A!
Have you ever seen that movie?
I know, but I've heard a podcast about it, and it sounds ridiculous. Apparently, like shoots acid or something out of his mouth.
Yep.
Oh shoot! I want to see this movie. I'm glad Scream's putting it out. And then Warner Archives is putting out Man from Atlantis, which looks. The cover is a man holding the pole that's attached to a pier, and he's looking off in the distance. So clearly, he's got secrets to hide that involve the ocean. Let's see. Not much else really, at least that I'm seeing here.
Does The Craft come out?
The Craft, yeah, The Craft's coming out.
That's a Scream Factory Collector's Edition.
This is a Scream Factory Collector.
It's a very popular movie amongst people.
I have never seen it.
No?
No, I've heard it. I've heard it's interesting. So I know. I know you've told me you don't like it, but your
It's
friend
all right.
Brandon likes it a lot.
That's all right.
But yeah, so yeah, that's Blu-rays.
Cool. We also watch movies throughout the week in a segment I call Movies Are Projected Onto a 4K TV. And we watch them.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Terrible.
We got to figure out a new plan here.
Corinne, what'd you watch this week?
Oh my gosh. Your kid wants me to throw money at him.
Kellen, no. Play with your monster trucks, please.
I'll do it afterward. Okay, so I don't even remember. So the last time I was on a regular episode was like in August for Winnie the Pooh or Christopher Robin or whatever. So I've got like 7 months worth of material to cover. So strap in, brothers.
Stand up a stretch.
No, I'm kidding. I am going to talk about some stuff I've been watching over the last couple of months though. I watched Baby Driver for the first time.
Nice.
I own it. I have it on Blu-ray for some reason.
There you go.
Kellen, come here. You can go. That's all right.
Okay. I got it on Blu-ray last Black Friday because it was like, I don't know, $4 or $5 at Best Buy, and I was like, sure, why not? I heard good things, and I don't know. I mean, I thought it started off really well, and I liked the opening bank robbery, and I liked the shootout with set to tequila. But then I think like the third act, I just kind of was uninterested, and it just kind of kept going. And I didn't like the way that the romance between Baby and Lily James's character was written. It came off as really weird and forced, although they were very cute. So I don't know. I think the longer it went, the less I liked it.
I always thought it was weird that John Hamm was the villain by the end. Like it almost seemed like a forced. Hey, gotcha.
And then Kevin Spacey ended up kind of being a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because he took to a young man.
It's been a while since I saw it, but I do remember thinking like,
Wow.
Can we replace you with Christopher Plummer?
I do remember thinking like, I could have like fixed this really easily with like just a couple of quick like script rewrites or something, but
Oh, we should call Edgar Wright and have Corinne talk to him. Now, Corinne, I hear what you're saying, but what if I put in a zombie? Can I put in a cop on the edge?
See, and I've only seen like 3 this was like the 3rd Edgar Wright film I've seen, because I've seen Hot Fuzz and I was kind of like about that, and I liked Shaun of the
You
Dead.
just keep on breaking my heart.
Sorry, I don't know. It was a while since I saw it, but I liked Shaun of the Dead, and then this was kind of like, yeah, sure, it was fine. I don't know if I'll, like I said, I own it, so I don't know if I'll hang on to it.
What do you do with it?
I don't know, just give it away. Give it to the Goodwill or something. I'm not gonna go out back and like burn it or anything.
Donate it to my thrift shop. I'll save it.
Okay. Or just give it to one of you guys if you want it. I don't care.
I have 2 copies
I
of
don't
Baby
know.
Driver in my
I
house.
think
Yeah,
I
I'm
would,
an eccentric collector.
maybe I would watch it again before I gave it away, or just to decide. But
It's my least favorite Edgar Wright movie.
really,
Yeah. I mean, the other two, you you have to get through are Scott Pilgrim and The World's End, which I think are great movies.
Scott Pilgrim's amazing.
World's End is the best film he's made.
No.
Yep. It's a great story.
Nope.
Your Mom's a great story.
Anyway, so I also watched Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men.
Oh, sweet.
That was the same night that I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I watched them back to back because they were both falling off of Netflix this next day.
Dang.
So I watched Children of Men first because I knew it was going to be like really sad and depressing and dark and stuff, which that was probably a good call. But then I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind right after it, and for anybody who didn't check out that Catching the Classics iteration, I did not like that movie. So I think one of the reasons I didn't is because coming off the heels of Children of Men, like Children of Men is a really well-made film, and it's an hour and 45 minutes, but it fucking moves. And then you sit down and you watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's 30 minutes longer, and it's slow as shit. But anyway, Children of Men is a really well-made film.
It is a good movie. It is a good movie, as is the other one you watched.
No, it's not.
Close Encounters, it's a great
And we
movie.
used to be like so great friends, and now Baby
Were
Driver
we?
and Close Encounters.
To be honest, though, like of a 2-hour movie, all I remember is the train stop, the building the mashed potatoes, and then Devil's Tower from that movie. Like,
It kind of meanders. There's a lot of like, oh, then he just like has a 10-minute scene with his family where he's like yelling at them or something.
Most times when Spielberg writes his own script, that does happen. I won't lie.
I just keep remembering like the part at the very end where like the spaceships are coming in and you're like, oh, like cool, we're gonna finally get to see the aliens, and then the spaceships all zoom back out, and then like the big ship comes in, and you're like, oh, we get to see the aliens now, and then they like release all the people, and it's, when do we get to see some fucking aliens here?
Now she's gonna tell me she doesn't like freaking Emily Blunt or Cary Grant.
What?
Sam Raimi's
Well,
a
now
hack.
that you
Never.
Sam Raimi's a hack.
Well, now that you mention it, I did not like The Quick and the Dead, Ryan. Let me tell you about
Well,
The Quick and
and
the
you,
Dead.
hey, you got Sicario back, and as you guys
Yes,
heard, I
Sicario
did
is
really
amazing.
like Sicario.
Sicario is amazing.
But anyway, as for Children of Men, it's a really great movie. You should go watch it. It's the movie that Logan ripped off, so...
Logan ripped off Shane. They're not even apologizing about it.
No,
Logan,
in the movie.
Logan draws from many inspirations.
yeah, Children of Men being one of them, I'm sure, because it's pretty much the exact same plot.
Technically,
except
it
with
is.
humans instead of mutants.
Maybe Children of Men ripped off
Does
Shane.
Clive Owen fight himself in Children of Men?
That'd be amazing if I saw
No,
Clive
but
Owen
he
clone.
does fight like neo-Nazis or whatever.
But you know what Logan needed was Michael Caine teaming up with Patrick Stewart.
That would have been awesome.
Over there is your clone.
Oh my!
So, yeah, Children of Men, really sad and depressing, but really, really good.
Yeah, beautifully shot. The last 30 minutes of that film are like a beautiful like oneer that kind of goes on throughout that entire like disrupted city. It's wonderful.
That's crazy.
Speaking of Alfonso Cuarón, I also rewatched a movie I saw a lot growing up that was apparently Alfonso Cuarón's like first feature-length English language film, A Little Princess, which is way better than it deserves to be. Because I also rewatched another 90s era children's movie, and it doesn't age well, but I'll talk about that in a second. But A Little Princess is really good. I remember that movie being depressing, and it is, but not as depressing as I remember it. It's
Really
sad.
I've only seen it once, and I saw it like in high school because I saw that Alfonso Cuarón did it, and I wanted to go through everything he had done. I barely remember it, but
I've never seen it
Yeah.
and or heard of it.
Okay, so
Doesn't seem like it's in my wheelhouse.
I've seen the VHS cover all over the place.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably not in your wheelhouse, but again, it's like really well made, especially for that era. And I think a lot of that is because of Alfonso Cuarón and like his team, and they really know what they're doing. But the story is that there's a little. It's set in World War I, and there's this little girl and her dad, and they're British citizens, but they live in India. But then the war starts, and so he goes off to war, but he leaves her at a boarding school in New York. And so he, like, stuff goes on with Sarah, the main character, at the boarding school, but then at the same time, her dad's fighting in the war, and he gets killed in action. And so she's orphaned because her mom's dead, and her dad's dead now, and she doesn't have any other relatives. and her dad's properties get seized by the British government. So she gets orphaned at this school that she was staying at, and so she ends up becoming a servant at the school, and the lady who runs it is like a total bitch, very 90s villain, like over the top, like think Little Orphan Annie and like the evil
Miss Trunchbull.
Yeah, like
Matilda.
yes, very much in that vein. But I mean, it's really sad, and there's like a lot of dramatic irony because
it's Miss Minchin.
Yeah, Miss Minchin.
I do remember that cover, and seeing the cover, I would never rent this movie.
Miss Minchin the bitchin'.
Yes,
She is such a bitch.
Wow. Is that line in the movie?
That'd be. You know what? That's in the director's cut.
Yeah, the X-rated director's cut of A Little Princess.
Alfonso, you got to cut this.
No,
Do not destroy my art.
This is about art. This is about passion.
I do.
Why
feel
do I
like
sound like Guillermo del Toro?
she is a little bit complex. Like there are a couple of little moments where you see like this bitchy facade that she has kind of starts to crack a little bit, and she does kind of have like for a tiny second she has like a little bit of a heart, but yeah, she's still a giant bitch, and I hate her. So I think people should go watch it because I think it's a really well-made film, especially for that era.
I remember it looking like beautifully shot and whatnot, but I just don't remember the story until
Yeah,
now.
the poster's garbage.
You're garbage.
You go make a better one.
A little white space
I
poking
can't.
through a
I
door.
actually I watched it on Netflix, but I own it on DVD. So
Oh.
if anybody ever wants to rent or borrow it, just let me know.
Well, I mean, I'll watch it
All right.
and have
And it'll be your new
have
favorite movie
Family
ever.
Guy on Hulu going at the same time.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it made you cry, Ryan.
I don't cry at movies.
Ryan, you will.
Bullshit! You just
Right.
admitted you cried at Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
this
because that was
week.
Stan Lee.
Ryan, you're gonna take your Shout Factory copy of Army of Darkness, 3-disc edition, throw it in the garbage after you see A Little Princess.
Never. You know, I always wonder if something will ever replace Army of Darkness as my favorite film of all time.
Okay.
And that
Spider-Man.
answer would be no.
Brad, you've got to make the ultimate movie that Ryan has no choice but to do that.
So, speaking of 90s era children's films, I also rewatched another movie I watched growing up as a kid. It Takes Two. It's Kirstie Alley and Steve Guttenberg, and man, that film does not age well.
Either did Christy Alley and Stephen Guttenberg.
Yeah.
Man, it's just a film dedicated to things I don't remember.
Also the Olsen twins are in that. And
Oh, yes.
they haven't aged well
Really?
either. No, yeah,
Do they
they're
even-
like the
Olsen
main
twins don't-
characters.
Olsen twins don't do anything. They retire.
They're like
right?
in fashion or
Yeah,
something.
I think so.
They just pose for Instagram pictures.
So do I.
Yeah, we don't get paid for it.
That is true.
So, yeah, it feels very much like a 90s movie. It just falls into all the like tropes
So-
from that era, and I don't know, it's just
Are
weird.
they even like good actresses? Because I only remember them from You
They're-
Got It, Dude. It's
they're-
the only thing I can remember.
Compared to the other kids in the film, they're not as bad, but they're just, like, I don't know.
But see, I like
It's hard
Elizabeth
to-
Olsen.
It's hard
'cause
to
she's
judge
awesome.
child actors. Because, I mean, there are some times where the line delivery is a little bit flat. Because they're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand
eh,
that. I
but-
don't understand why they're so popular. What were
I
they
mean-
were?
Because they were
I don't
twins, Ryan!
Yeah, I don't know. Something about the 90s, like, they were like, oh, like, 2 for the price of 1? Like,
People
don't know.
just love babies for no reason.
Because, see, they were adorable on a show, and then we found out that they looked like clones, and we were like, wow,
and now
adorable
you
comedy
can do
clones.
or you can do, like, Prince and the Pauper type stuff with them, which is kind of what this movie is based on.
Billboard Dad.
Also, if you're born on television, people just assume that you're going to grow up to be great actors and actresses. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
science.
So, I mean, they weren't.
Gary Coleman.
They're not like the best child actors, but yeah, they're not like
'Cause I-
the kids in A Little Princess are better than the kids in.
I think
this
I'm a little
movie.
too old to be on the Olsen train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was never really a big
You were
Full
probably
House.
like I don't know
40 by
10.
then.
40.
I know I was
I
never
think
into
the movie
Full
came out
House.
in '95. How old were you in '95?
14.
Okay, yeah. See, yeah, you were way too old.
But even then, so I was never like, a Full House person. When I
wasn't either. But I had.
Nick at Night
I
dude.
watched all those like Olsen twin movies, like
really.
Twin Detectives or whatever the shit they were. I don't know. They did a lot of stuff.
Twin
Anyway,
sea creature trainers.
maybe. So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend
Babies.
it. I guess if you want to watch something that's like pure '90s, go watch it because it's. Ugh.
Mary Kate.
Apparently, it went through several rewrites, and they had trouble like locking down a cast for it. And it's like, wonder why? Because it's a shit movie.
Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins 2.
I'd be down.
Just saying. What if the twins met another pair of twins that are more than likely actually twins? And then Eddie Murphy's their third triplet brother.
Okay, real quick, I'll touch on some TV shows I've been watching. Watched Superstore, NBC's comedy. I actually weirdly watched it in reverse order, so starting with the most recent episodes and working my way back through the seasons.
I did with that with The Office.
Yeah, and then working my way all the way back to the pilot, and that show has progressed a lot, and it's kind of interesting. I like where it is now a lot better than. No.
But if the end is the beginning.
Damn it, Nolan!
Yeah, seeing where it started out at, I'm glad it's evolved to where it is now, because what they started out with was pretty yikes. But
Yeah, it
they found their
happens a lot
stride.
with, I mean, Parks and Rec has that.
Community has that.
And same with The Office. I think.
Or 30 Rock, even.
Yeah, I think the
first season is kind of rough.
I think you can, just like all those shows, you can point to things. Oh, this is good, and you can get through it, and then you see it slowly evolve to what it is.
The Simpsons had that issue too. Like season 3's where they really start getting their stride, and then 4's where it's like
4's an
pitch perfect.
amazing season.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think with like anything, you're just you get a collection of people who don't normally work together, and they just kind of have to spend a lot of time finding their footing.
You're trying to learn.
Like writers, like you do that pilot, you don't invest too much into it because most of the time they don't get picked up. So if it does, then you're scrambling to figure out like, well, how do we extrapolate this and make it work on season after season? So
I always point to Community on that because Community took a while for me to get into, but once I got into it, I got into it.
Yeah. So, but I feel like you can kind of tell like they used The Office as a template. I don't know if they were intending to do that, but it feels that way because you can kind of tell like who the Michael Scott character is, who the Dwight character is, and who the Pam and Jim characters are. So, and who the Toby equivalent is. So, anyway,
Why are you the way you are?
Superstore. It's like one of those shows that you can just kind of put on and just kind of when in the background when you're watching or when you're making lunch or whatever.
I hate all the things that you choose to be.
I also watched season 3 of The Good Place when it came on a couple of months ago.
I know I got to start watching it. I have my Hulu is really backed up on it.
I won't spoil it for you, but I will say that I like season 3, but I like season 2 better. I think season 2 is a little bit more focused, whereas season 3, I think they're trying to do a lot in season 3, and it's almost like there's 3 separate arcs that happen within the one season. And I kind of wish that they would have, I don't know.
That's one show though.
Strung
I think
it out
actually
a little
hit the
bit.
ground running. I think the first episode's really strong in that, and The Good Place.
Yeah.
And I love Kristen Bell, so I kind of have like a.
It's a really well written show, and I appreciate the fact that they just like go breakneck speed through a lot of stuff. But this is one of the instances where I wish they'd kind of slowed down and given things time to breathe, because I think a lot of times now that they're just trying to force it because they're like, you've already seen this, like we don't need to show it to you again. And I'm like, actually, we haven't seen this really. I wanted to see it again, so
I want to start watching that show because I like Ted Danson a lot.
he's
I mean,
really
I like
good.
Kristen. I like
He's
Kristen
really
Bell, but
good
like
in it.
He's really good in
This
it.
entire cast is fantastic.
Yeah, I just like I don't know why, but I've been like really like looking back on it the past week. I'm going like I like Ted Danson, like Cheers,
so
fucking
hot.
like I haven't rewatched 3 Men and a
he
Baby.
is so hot.
Dude, like that's an amazing forehead.
For like
he's
a
got now.
70-year-old dude.
Is he 70?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in his 70s. I don't know if he might be like 72 or something, but looking good.
In his spare time, still running that bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
yeah.
Sam Malone.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody go watch season 3 of The Good Place. It's really, really good. But watch season 2 and 1 and 2 first.
They're all on Hulu, so you can check them out if you have Hulu.
Yeah, and I think season 1 and 2 are on Netflix.
Oh, that's right too. It's on Netflix as well.
Last, I will talk about our favorite topic whenever I'm on, The Blacklist.
That show is still on.
The show's still on.
Will they fuck? Will they fuck?
Oh my gosh. Season 6 has been ridiculous. It started in January and they're, I think, like 10 episodes in now. I'm so annoyed at this show. I really like.
You
Part
can
of
stop
me,
watching it.
I can, but I'm like, I'm in too deep, man. I gotta. If anything, I'm hate watching it now. I'm
so
like,
close to the end of the list.
Oh, that's always fun to hate watch things.
it's like I'm here for James Spader and the hope that one day Red and Liz will get together.
Will they fuck? Will they fuck?
They are. It's happening. It's gonna happen if they get a 7th season. That is because James Spader signed on for season 7, but after that, I don't think they're gonna get a season 8. So we'll have to see if they get
list is
season
finite,
7.
So once they get through all the numbers,
Well, we don't know how long the list is.
it's like I think it said like 200 in the first episode.
Nope, there's no limit to the number of people on the list. I actually researched this one time. There's like, I think like at least 300 spots on the list, and they up to like the end of season 5. I think they had covered about half of them, but not everybody who was on the list had been caught or killed. So
I'm sure it's like 24, where it's like it's 24 hours because they can sell the network on 24 episodes a season. So I'm thinking the Blacklist was pitched on like a finite, because I think 300 episodes you're on the air for what, 7 years, 8 years,
Like maybe 10 actually.
10 years.
I don't
yeah.
think they've even tackled everybody in the top 10 on the Blacklist.
Well, Kaplan was like 5 or something, and then his assistant was one of them.
They're waiting for
Dembe.
the end of the series to do that so that David Letterman can do a cameo and do his top 10. Yeah. I'll
But-
make that reference. Fight me.
Go back to your writer's room.
I know a lot of people have continuously been annoyed with Liz, and I was annoyed with her too, but I didn't hate her as much as like seemingly everybody else who watches the show hates her. But last night's episode was really, really bad in terms of making the audience hate Liz, because she's the one. So spoilers for you, Brad, but it's not really because it's in the trailers for season 6. So Red gets arrested in season 6, the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think that's
And
where
he
I'm
gets, he gets sent to prison, and he gets put on trial for like treason and murder and whatever. And we find out that Liz is the one who turned him in. She's the
Makes
reason he
sense.
got arrested. She
She was
betrayed him because she was pissed off that
She
he
teams up
stole
with
her
sister.
father's identity and lied to her about it. And like then immediately after she turns him in, she has like all this regret. She's like, oh no, I shouldn't have done what I did. Oh, woe is me. And then now, like in the episode last night, he's facing the death penalty. And she's like, oh, please let me go on the stand. I'll be your character witness. Oh, like, I don't want you to die. And then, so he gets the death penalty, but then he has this plan to escape from prison. And the only reason the plan fails is because she came to visit him in prison, which tipped off the guards that he had escaped sooner. So he didn't get to escape. And it's like, oh my gosh, the only reason he's in prison is because of you. Then you regret putting him in prison, and then you foil his plans to get out. So I just can't stand her character anymore. This show, I hate the writers on this show and the way they write her character to be so. I love Red. I hate Red. I forgive Red. All the time.
For a show that starts out feeling like they have this grand plan, and you watch 6 seasons of it, you feel like they're very much making up episode to episode.
Oh yeah.
Because
Definitely.
whatever's most interesting thing to do at the moment, that's what they'll do. So it's frustrating.
So don't watch The Blacklist. It sucks.
Haven't.
Or hate watch it, or watch it but like do a drinking game.
Or watch my new post Blacklist show every night called Will They Fuck?
Dude, retire the
Totally
joke. It's
gonna
not
do
working.
it.
It's not working. Your joke has failed.
Okay.
Or
Fair
did
enough.
they already do it?
Yeah, what if we don't know that they've like have
It might be like
capitulated
an
at one
X
point?
Files situation.
What if her baby is actually
Red's.
Red's baby?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna
And
have
they've
to
been
talk about
lying
this
to us the
later
whole time.
because
Series
the
finale
timeline
reveal.
does not add
And
up
Tom
for it
was
to be
her
Tom's
brother.
baby.
Oh,
No, Tom's not her brother.
This is all turning into Arrested Development.
And
very
Mr. Kaplan
quickly.
was her mom.
No, Mr. Kaplan was her nanny. It's really stupid. Anyway, so
Every time you try to explain it, I have no idea what's going on. And I swear I've had
That's okay.
every season explained to me, and I don't.
Don't watch it,
even
Ryan.
even when you liked it, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this show.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Every time I hear it, I just like start filling my head with old timey cartoons, like playing a pinky piano in my head.
Oh, it is like a soap opera turned into a procedural crime show.
As the
It's
Spader
so
turns.
stupid. Now they're like throwing around like the whole possibility of like memory erase and stolen identities, and it's really stupid.
Yeah, I watched Designated Survivor, and like the people in it are really good. They're great actors, but I want Kiefer Sutherland to be like cooler in it, so it's really hard for me to get on board with it. And it's one of those network crime shows, you know what I mean, where they're trying to figure out this really big crime, but it always has weird twists to it.
And side tangents.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Kiefer Sutherland string someone up and torture him again. That's all I want.
You're not going to get that again.
I know I'm not.
It sucks, but...
Yeah, that's like 90% of the reason why people watch the show is for James Spader. So
He is really good on it, though. Like,
He is.
He elevates that material big time.
oh my gosh, yeah. Pfft. Anyway, so that's all I've been watching in the last. Well, not all I've been watching, but that's what all I've been
The
going to talk
highlights.
about.
Brad?
Oh,
Oh, you didn't expect it. Boom.
yeah, it's been a while, but I'll start with
Since I last held my head up, it's been a while.
whatever happened to those guys.
Oh, dead.
So I watched the Oscar shorts in the theater, both the live action and the animated.
Nice.
The animated was good. Obviously, the Pixar one won, but I actually thought the final one of the set, which was an American and Chinese collaboration. It's about this girl and her father, and the girl wants to be an astronaut someday. And he's a cobbler, and so he makes shoes for her throughout her life. And you see her, study for class and go on to college and all that. And eventually he, she gets rejected from the space program, and kind of shuts down and stops, that relationship kind of falls apart. And then she settles for a job she doesn't quite care for. And then, like, just as she's about to maybe reinvigorate that passion for the space program, he dies. And so she goes on and does it without him. And the animation's amazing. I totally forgot to look at the title of it, but that was the one I was actually like affected by. And then, like, across the board, like, all the animation was interesting and very different pieces. But the live action stuff made you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It was so depressing.
It's either about like toxic masculinity or just children turning evil.
Yeah,
or children turning evil because of toxic masculinity.
I wish I had watched this closer to being able to talk about it, because I can't remember most of them. But the two that stood out were the one where the two kids killed two 6 or 7 year olds killed a toddler.
Fuck.
Horribly.
It was a crime in Scotland, I think.
It's a real thing.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I do. Is that the one where they like walk with it? Like they take him to like a train yard or something?
They abducted
I
him
do
from the
know that
mall.
story,
Yeah.
Took him to the train tracks. Shoved batteries up his butt. Just beat the shit out of him.
It's terrible.
But the acting from the kids, because initially the kids deny it, and the police are pretty much know they did it. They're just trying to get the confession out of them. So the child actors are pretty good, because they're pretty convincing that they didn't do it. And then one of them starts to fall apart, and they get through to him, while the other one's just like sociopath, like stone cold about it. And then the other one, the one that did win the Oscar, which Skin was pretty good. And that's where there's like this group of white supremacists, and the main one you're following has a son. And you see them like hanging out and just kind of doing hanging out, shooting guns and stuff. And then they go shopping at a grocery store, and there's a African American checking out in the checkout line, and the kid's just like, "Oh, cool! He has like this action figure he's buying his kid," and so he's like waving. But then his dad gets all like, he's kind of instigates a thing, kind of like eggs him on to like fight him, and they assault him in the parking lot with all of his other white supremacist buddies. But then a couple days later, this van pulls up like next to him, and like kidnaps him, and they hold him in their garage. Like the guy who got beat up, all of his friends, they kidnap the guy who beat him up, hold him in his garage, and then, like it's kind of ambiguous, like what they're doing, and then all of a sudden they dump him on the middle of the street, and they've like tattooed him completely black, and so he's wandering around. I think it was like L.A. Trying to find his way home, and when he gets home, like his kid shoots him because he thinks he's, a black guy trying to break into the house. So, it's just tense. And
so, what is the criteria? What's the cutoff for how long they can be?
I don't know, because they all had different lengths. I think that one was the longest one.
I think it's anything under 60 minutes, because 60 minutes technically is the qualifier for a feature.
Gotcha.
I think it's like 15 to 45.
Yeah,
So
that's got to be it,
minute.
because I don't think they're going to do like a 55. Like, I think it's different with documentaries because they tread into a different territory, but that Skin one that won, those guys already have a development deal to turn that into a feature with Fox Searchlight.
Because that seems like a really like heavy topic to be like a short subject.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what else you could do with it.
The only thing I've heard is that what happens in the short with the that part of it is kind of like ancillary to like a bigger thing they're going to tackle. So, but I don't know. I've only heard like bits and pieces of it. They were very excited to win their award that night.
I mean, I guess there's other places you can go with it, but I think that was the most interesting part.
Yeah,
like that's the part I haven't seen before.
I haven't seen it yet, but like it sounds interesting, and I do want to watch it. There's the short, the only shorts that I watched were able to find where the depressing one you were talking about earlier with the kid being killed, and that's only because they were having like a debate about it because the family members didn't want to talk about it. So, but anyway, or they didn't want it nominated because they didn't think they should be profiting off of their child's death. So,
then I also got to see Police Story 1 and 2 in the theater, which is one of Jackie Chan's great movies. Two movies.
Were they showing at the Sea?
Yeah, they're at the Sea because Criterion recently remastered them because they were going to release them. So they had like a new presentation of it and everything.
Right.
I hadn't seen them before. I just seen like the action fights because the finale of Police Story 1 is just incredible. Like, and it's like watching it and following the story this time is amazing because there really isn't a ton of action in that movie.
Right.
He hangs off the side of that bus with the umbrella early on. And he chases it down on foot. And there's a couple action sequences in between, but for the most part, it's just like a lot of police procedural stuff with a couple like lighthearted, goofy jokes, like his two superiors. Like one's on his side, the other one's constantly, the chief of police who's ragging on him because like you wrecked 20 cars, but that's all in Chinese. And then, but the finale when they get to the mall and just like how fast Jackie Chan's like fighting and like throwing people in the glass and stuff, and it's like the fight sequence is so incredible. Like I immediately just walk out of the theater going like, we need to do our action movie, guys.
Well, it's one of those movies that I actually have never seen the movies, but I've seen the action scenes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
while you're talking to him. Yeah, like
oh, sorry.
I've only seen the
repeat it.
That final scene is pretty much all I've ever seen in Police Story. But like watching it with the narratives, so like I didn't like. There's also he has this like the other like the B plot of the movie is he has a girlfriend that he's kind of a dick to because he's so like wrapped up in his career, but she constantly like gets in the way like she'll take a hit for him because she's just like in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then like there's was one stunt where she freaks out and runs out of the apartment and gets on her moped, and then he like is trying to like stop her, but he accidentally gets his hand caught in her backpack, and so the scooter takes off and like she flies off the back of it. And so that carries over into the second movie, which is the guy who's introducing it says it's like every second movie action sequel. All the stunts are bigger and badder, and the story is reduced. And there's like Police Story 1 doesn't have a ton of explosions, but the finale of Police Story 2 is like a whole warehouse explodes and Jackie Chan's standing in front of it, and it's like the biggest warehouse ever because like some abandoned mine or something. The first one it's like some criminal syndicate is running a drug trade, but the second one there's like this like mysterious bomber, and Jackie Chan has to track down like who's making the bombs, and at times it felt a little long, but yeah.
Do you think when they come out in Criterion they're worth buying?
Oh yeah, I mean, the prints look so good.
Did they show the Criterion prints there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, the stunts are just incredible. Like, they're inhuman, some of the stuff they do. So,
sweet,
nice.
And then the last thing I saw, I was thinking how cool Police Story was. I watched with Zach Apollo 11, the documentary version of the moon landing.
Yeah, we went and saw it in IMAX. Yeah,
which is interesting to watch because, like, I wasn't expecting
to IMAX.
Yeah, actually, the Colorado Center one.
Yep.
Yeah. This had no commentary over it. It was straight up just B-roll of
interspliced
in order.
Interspaced with audio interviews or actual audio recordings. Like the only audio interview they did was Walter Cronkite's news footage and stuff. Like you heard it over the beginning and middle. But anyway, yeah.
There's no like people on screen commenting or like
no talking
being
heads.
interviewed. It was just like literal. Here's what was happening at this. Like they even just show people driving up onto Cape Canaveral and parking to watch the. So you're just kind of just watching this thing unfold. Like my daily video project. And it's just amazing to watch all that stuff. Tons of things you never, like a lot of stuff in the control room that you never get to see.
There's angles from the different parts of the space modules and stuff that you get to watch how different parts of the ship eject. I wish James was here because he would be able to explain these technical terms better than I can.
Yeah,
but when the ship does shit, you get to see it in different angles.
And I wish he was here to explain because one of the most baffling things for me was that, like when the different sections of the capsule separate, there's a camera on and then that piece is going into the ocean. So I'm like, how the hell did they get that footage? Like, I guess they had a tracker on it and they could fish it out of the ocean?
I'm sure they fished it out because they didn't want anybody else, like the Russians or something.
But this isn't a GoPro either. It's like a film reel in a canister.
Yeah.
At the time.
Well, it could, and it could be like very like, it doesn't have to be like big film. It could be like 8mm film that's kind of like easily compacted and whatnot. Because like the footage we saw, by the way, is it's in 70mm, been fully restored. A lot of which looks extremely pristine given the situations in which you're filming that material. Like the stuff where they're on the moon or any of those angles on the ship look incredible. Like they're not like supremely clear, but they're not gonna be because of
that's
the
weird
technology.
for a Stanley Kubrick film for it not to be.
I know. I was, I was just wondering. I was just like, at what point is Jack Nicholson gonna show up with an axe in this movie?
A lot of asymmetrical stuff in this documentary. Actually,
didn't you say afterward that you were just like, wow, that was the greatest Stanley Kubrick movie I ever saw?
Nice.
But I guess they could also they could be broadcast images.
That's true. Like you
like they recorded on land.
In that broadcast when it goes
so clear,
they would film it on kinescope. So there are different ways of filming stuff, but like the way they tell it is extremely fascinating and immensely watchable. I liked seeing it on IMAX. I think that is the way you should see it. I don't think you'll be able to now because I think Captain Marvel's in IMAX right now.
Yeah,
which is fine, but
seeing in a theater at all because like you also get the sound design of it, so which is something you won't get just watching on TV at home. So
my favorite part of it, honestly, it's like within the first 30 minutes of this film is they show the people who are gathering around the different parts of Cape Kennedy and all those things to watch the takeoff of the rocket. And it's like it's like a huge event. You see like Krispy Kreme vendors like handing out donuts and stuff. You see the parking lot of a Penny's is like filled to the fucking brim with all these cars. Like it's like one of those like.
You know what I was thinking about the whole time during that though is like nowadays the police would be all over that.
Yeah,
like, you can't be here. Step aside. Cordon this off.
That's part of what made it so fascinating because
it's like
just
half their cars are like in the salt water.
Yeah, now it's
they're just doing whatever.
Now security is so extreme to that point that you couldn't even get a good vantage point of it. But like, so seeing that was eternally fascinating, and like I could just imagine the person who was driving into work at Penny's that day going like, "Motherfucker, I can't find a parking space. What are they doing across the way? What? Oh, a rocket? Great." But yeah, no, it's a wonderful film.
Quick, put the launch day sale signs up.
Our prices are out of this world.
Did they actually do that? They had like a launch day sale.
I was
No.
joking, but they should've.
They're just the footage outside the Penny, and it's actually extending to a bunch of different businesses too. I mean,
Yeah.
the best image is seeing all the cars that are lined up across like the Cape that's just right before the ocean, because then you get that view of the rocket and whatnot. It's pretty amazing the footage that they possess in their hands, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was a good documentary. I enjoyed watching it. It was a fun birthday treat that I didn't expect to do. So,
Yeah, I think that's it for me. I've been watching a lot of Next Generation since season 4.
okay. So you just decided to cheat and catch up with me.
I've already finished watching all the seasons, so
okay.
I'm way ahead of you.
Oh, okay, fine.
But I was, I've said it before. Next Generation, starting like season 4 and 5, are just
Amazing.
some of the best television writing. Season 6 and 7, I didn't notice before was that a lot of the episodes are very stories about the mind. Like everyone's having some kind of hallucination or dream sequence or something that they're trying to
a lot of
decipher.
A lot of inner conflict stuff.
Yeah. So
Is that the season where Dr. Crusher porks a ghost?
that's season 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The ghost that porked her grandma. That's not one of the best ones of that season.
Also, I loved your little meme there, proving that once and for all that Patrick Stewart really has been Batman at some point. We just didn't. It's a secret Batman show the whole time.
But for the record, though, that's not the same Shakespeare bust. There's the collars are different, so it's cool to think of that they're recycling props.
Yeah,
which I think. It was ABC when the 66 show was on, but
it was ABC.
Star Trek is CBS. So
Star Trek was also syndicated in Paramount, so it was going to any market.
That's it for me.
Cool. Did you want to go or me? Oh, okay.
Brad, what we call a transition, where you both saw the same movie, so it goes right to you.
I know. I just
come on, radio guy.
I just didn't want to assume. Like I said, saw Apollo 11 was great. I saw Fighting with My Family, the new Steve Merchant film, produced by The Rock and starring The Rock.
Is he starring it? I thought he was just like a little bit in it, or is he in it quite a bit?
He actually has an important role in this film.
No, your role.
And how long of a role is it?
About 15 minutes. So
it's
I'd
a
say
cameo.
I'd say it's an Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and
Or
not
with
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So it's the story of the wrestler called Paige. Comes from this low income family who has their own like kind of wrestling operation going in London. And she and her brother try out for WWE. She's the only one that makes it in. Her brother doesn't. And it shows her going through the NXT trial runs. I think that's what it was. It's like
their minor leagues.
It's like
I
that,
haven't watched wrestling in years.
It's the in between before you go to the WWE, and it also shows her brother who didn't get in struggling with a newborn baby and contemplating his own role in the family now that she's a success and he's not. It's the most heartfelt thing I didn't see coming. It's a PG-13 film that gets away with a lot of stuff in terms of that PG-13 rating, and I think it's mainly because there's so much heart in it that like you kind of overlook a lot of the language, the violence, and all that stuff like to get that rating. But I have never like seen a wrestling movie other than maybe The Wrestler where they kind of really like where they really deal with like a true emotion into it, but also make me like the sport. Like I'm not like too into wrestling and whatnot. I didn't grow up with it, you know, so it's not like something that was mainly a part of me. I've been getting into it lately thanks to those documentaries that you've been recommending, Ryan, and other ones that I've been finding. This film was like a fun watch for someone who's just getting into it. I like the story of Paige. I think Florence Pugh, who plays Paige, is fantastic in the film. Nick Frost has one of the best roles he's ever gotten in a movie that doesn't have to do with just getting laughs. Like, he shows genuine tender emotion in this film that doesn't have to do with him playing like a man-child.
Like butter.
Like butter.
Excuse me, what about when he played Santa Claus?
When did he play Santa Claus?
On Doctor Who, on the Christmas special.
I haven't watched all of Doctor Who, so... I heard there's a lot of things going on in the Doctor Who's. But no, I mean, Fighting with My Family is great. Like, I think only it seems weird, but I think only Stephen Merchant could have, like, wrote this film as brilliantly as it turned out to be, because there's a lot of cynical humor to it that balances out with the heart. So it's, like, very clever and very intelligently designed. So, I would check out Fighting with My Family. It blew me away. I want to go see it again. I saw Happy Death Day to You.
Nice.
Which, you're right, that film's fun.
Yeah.
A lot more heart and humor in it than thrills and chills and spills, but I loved what they did with Danielle at the end.
Yeah, that's great.
And this is why the news of them not doing a third one pisses me off, because I want that story to somehow continue. Maybe they can do, like, direct-to-streaming sequels or something like that, and, like, follow the ancillary characters. Don't even follow Jessica Roth, because I think she's going to go on and be, like, a huge-ass star.
She could be, yeah. She's good.
She's great in it. And I liked the fact that it's a movie about getting over grief, which I really respected them doing in a 90-minute Groundhog Day type comedy. So yeah, I would check out Happy Death Day to You. Rewatch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington on
Great
the
movie.
Blu-ray that I picked up. It's the same one that you have, the book one.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really great hour and 45-minute documentary on Capra, which was fun to watch. Like,
Is it the one with his son? Or maybe that's not on
No,
Mr.
well,
Smith. Maybe that's Mr. Deeds.
This one has a bunch of interviews with his son about Mr. Smith, but this also had it's an hour and a half to hour and 45-minute documentary hosted by Ron Howard, which I'm like, that's perfect. They just go through his whole career and how he kind of basically, like, fell out of favor after It's a Wonderful Life. And
Did you order that off Amazon?
no, I picked it up at Barnes & Noble's a couple weeks back.
Because those are hard to find, those book ones.
I
now.
know. And that's why I wanted to get it from Barnes & Noble's, because I wanted that edition on my shelf.
Yeah, because I think they changed them just to the standard again.
Yeah, which sucks, because that's how I think I'm going to get Lost Horizon, which blows. But Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, still fucking great. Jimmy Stewart, still amazing in the film. Claude Rains as Senator Payne, who's technically the villain, I think Claude Rains is still one of the most watchable actors of that era you'll ever see. There is one thing that, like, I've seen Mr. Smith so many times, never thought of this until this time. There's a scene before he goes to his first day in the Senate chambers where he goes to Mount Vernon to get inspiration, but we don't get to see it. And I want to see a scene of Jimmy Stewart walking through Mount Vernon going like, oh, look at that over there. That must have been Washington's spatula, and that must have been his bed over there. Oh, let me lie in his bed for a little bit. Just see this, like, jingoistic, lovely young man, like, just obsess over Washington's, like, home in Mount Vernon would have been hilarious to me.
I've never seen this movie. Does Jimmy Stewart play a frantic or anxious man in it?
He plays a timid man who learns how to become brave in the power of adversity and corruption and greed.
He's great in it.
I like Jimmy Stewart, but it seems like he always plays like a very frantic or anxious man.
Grace, get over here. Grace, get over here. There's a sinister-looking kid I want you to see.
He plays an old dog in An American Tale, Five Goes West.
Oh, because at that point I probably
That
was
his
an old
last role,
dog.
wasn't it? That was his last role, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's his last acting role, because, like, he kind of retreated from acting after the 60s and whatnot, because his son died in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So he kind of retreated, and he did some stuff here and there, like obviously the Five Goes West being the last one, but I think he was also kind of done with acting at that point.
Yeah.
It's weird listening to his story, because, like, we don't really talk about him post the Hitchcock years.
Well, his trajectory is a lot like Grant's. They both started around the same time.
Yeah, and then
they're in the business for 35 years. And then, Grant had his little daughter, and he's just like, I'm done.
He just kind of went away quietly.
Yeah, I'm done.
There's no real hoorah. Although Jimmy's is sadder than Grant's. In terms of his son.
Yeah, Grant was fine. He was happy raising his daughter and became like a Fabergé like spokesperson and made tons of money.
Thanks, LSD. Sorry, that was rude. On the classic kick, though, I did another fitness cinema and watched Singin' in the Rain. Which was like, finally, they're getting some good movies here. This whole month is Marvel movies and musicals.
Nice.
So the whole month is filled
M&Ms.
with something I want to watch. Except for tomorrow is apparently showing James Cameron's Avatar, which I'm like, I'm not doing a 3-hour workout. But Singin' in the Rain, wonderful
R.I.P.
film.
Debbie Reynolds.
Wonderful film co-directed by Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly. Tells the story of how silent cinema turned into sound cinema through the eyes of two idealistic creative types. Donald O'Connor's footwork in the Make 'Em Laugh thing.
Oh, yeah.
Made me like I texted it to you. I'm just like I feel inadequate trying to run on a treadmill while watching them dance like crazy ass hoofers. It's ridiculous. But I did get like a good 5.6 miles out of it and burn some calories, so that was fun. I rewatched Passage to Marseille, which is a movie about Free French fighters during World War II, starring Humphrey Bogart, Claude Rains again, Peter Lorre, and Sidney Greenstreet. And I think this is one of the few times where Peter Lorre is a hero in a movie because like he's still like
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Okay, that's true. But in a movie with Bogart and Greenstreet and Claude Rains, 20,000 Leagues doesn't have those other three people I just mentioned.
That's true. But it does have James Mason in it.
But does your movie have Peter Lorre grabbing a machine gun turret and blowing Nazis out of the sky and then dying while doing it, so he died nobly? Peter Lorre died nobly in a movie once, guys.
Good.
Yeah. It's wonderful. The rest of the movie is really great, though. It's a series of flashbacks, though, showing how they got onto the boat that they're on. So it keeps going like Inception into this, Inception into that. Like it's like a level of flashback that, but it's still a wonderful film, directed by Michael Curtiz. So it's essentially like a mini Casablanca reunion, and I believe, from everything I've read, this was apparently the film they were trying to pitch as a Casablanca sequel that then turned into this. So
didn't they make a Casablanca sequel?
No,
Oh.
They talked about it though. I talked about it a couple months ago, but like if you read the book, We'll Always Have Casablanca, they talk about how they tried for a good year and a half period to make a sequel to Casablanca possible, and it was going to follow Rick and Louis joining the Free French army because they just wanted to follow those characters again.
Right.
Still a great film. And then the last thing I rewatched were the first two Road movies, Road to Singapore and Road to Zanzibar. Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Dorothy Lamour. Great films. I noticed, though, the first two take a while to seem to get the right balance of comedic patter with them and story. Because by the time he gets Road to Morocco, they finally just say, like, fuck it, it's the Bob and Bing show with also Dorothy Lamour. The things that stood out for me rewatching it this time is one, you could not do the brown face that Bob and Bing do in that movie ever again, which, you know, rightfully so, but like because they put brown paste on themselves to sneak into a native feast on this island that they're all staying on. Number two is also Jerry Colonna, who's the voice of the Mad Hare in Alice in Wonderland, is in it. And then in Road to Zanzibar, Bob Hope does Batman cosplay before there was Batman cosplay. It's just basically he's a human bat.
When that come out?
1941.
Okay, so Batman was already out.
Yeah, it was, but he was the first cosplayer. I mean, it's mainly a joke. He's just a human bat. It's one of many schemes that the character's doing to earn money in vaudeville. So, like, there's one point where they're shocking him so that he can have a light bulb turn on in his mouth. So, anyway, that's all I watched this week, guys.
I watched Captain America in 4K. It looks good.
Did you get the Steelbook?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the colors are a little more muted because the way it was shot. Mm-hmm. But there's some great moments. The scene where the factory's blowing up and Red Skull reveals his true face to Captain America looks amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, the sound, the audio mix is really where it's at. And I mean, you can see little details on their uniforms and stuff, stitches and things. But the audio mix is amazing. So yeah, check it out. The only thing on the disc is the movie, so it has room to breathe and sound great.
Does it come with the Blu-ray that also has special features?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say the 4K itself is just the movie.
Yeah, the 4K itself is just the movie, which happens a lot.
But the special features are on the Blu-ray, so you're not getting.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
I was surprised how much his floating head isn't. Like, I remember it being way more floaty.
I don't at all.
When
Actually, I
he's a
think the
skinny guy.
special effects look amazing. Like to this day. Maybe because it's the higher resolution.
That's what I'm wondering is like, because
you know, even on Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, Rocket's fur looks way more realistic.
yeah, I feel like when I watch like really like really detailed CGI, like on a lesser resolution screen, it stands out.
Yeah.
But when it's screened properly, it's all right.
I wonder if it's because that's what the artists are working on.
I think so.
And then, it has to be downscaled.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know technical stuff that well, but I'm sure it has something to do with it.
Yeah.
I also have been rewatching The Office, and Gay Witch Hunt has always been my favorite episode because I think it encapsulates Michael Scott so well, where he's really inappropriate, but he really cares about the people he works with.
Mm-hmm.
But I've watched The Dinner Party like 4 times this week.
Oh my gosh.
Just because I think it's so intricate and the characters in it are so great that I'm trying to catch each little character moment in it, and it's amazing.
That's one of the hardest episodes for me to watch because it's so freaking awkward.
It is, and I think that's why it's so great. Because, I mean, there's even, Jim has the excuse that his apartment's flooding, and he's still going to leave Pam there, and it's funny.
Dick move, bro.
Yeah.
You can always get more stuff, Jim. You can't always get yourself another party. Isn't there like the sliding door?
Yeah, that Michael ran into it because he heard the ice cream man. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they don't say that until like it's like one of those jokes that pays off later because like Pam's just like it's cold in here like throughout the whole party, and then later on
when
you
they
find
sit
out
down.
like why it's
And I mean, there's that funny line where Michael leans over to Pam and says, "I can't be sure, but I think she's poisoning my dinner." And the last 2 people to get dinner are him and Pam because she thinks Pam is hooked up with Michael.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love that episode. So I've watched it because I love
the little
the
thing about the
character
plasma screen.
Oh,
TV.
yeah.
He's like mounted it myself.
Good luck paying me back for that. But so yeah, because I watched it that many times. I was watching each character, and I really wanted to see their moments because I think Jan's really great in it too. The lady who plays her, Melora Hardin, is really great in it. You know what I mean, babe. So yeah, I watched that. I watched A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
I'm off the deep end.
Yeah, that's the song in there.
Yeah.
That's a song in there.
The movie's really great.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's a lot more depressing than the other Star Is Born. It's like it's a little more.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Either one, a little more. They're both.
all three of them.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
3
So
previous
I mean,
versions.
Judy Garland, and I've seen the Barbra Streisand one. So it's
This one gets more out of the Barbra Streisand one technically because of the country element.
yeah. But I mean, Bradley Cooper's really great, and I think his character is really great because he plays it really well when you can tell he's actually drunk or on drugs.
Yeah,
because he's different.
It seems like have you've read his thing about it, right? Where like because he was an alcoholic, like a huge ass alcoholic and whatnot, and like so he's tapping into something that must be difficult to tap into because especially if you're trying to stay clean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like it's an amazing performance, and like when he pees at the Grammys, like it's both like what the hell and so sad at the same time.
Yeah, it's really sad, and his end is and then my wife couldn't stop crying, and she said, it just makes me think that if something happened to you, I'm like, wow, she actually cares about me. I'm not gonna.
How did she like the movie?
She loved it.
Ryan, whatever you do, don't write a country song and crush pills with a boot.
And then hang myself in a garage. I think I'm.
Oh my god! Oh, that was so depressing. Because the dog's there. That poor dog has to witness it.
Yes.
Beautifully shot, though.
Yeah, very well done.
Matthew Libatique, man.
And then I just watched a couple other things. I watched 3 Cary Grant films.
You don't say,
yeah,
do you?
I watched The Howards of Virginia, which I wanted to like a lot more because Cary Grant plays an American in the American Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the American Revolution, it doesn't happen until like the last 30 minutes, but it's basically
it's a secret war
So
movie.
it's like The Patriot. Is it Cary Grant's The Patriot?
No, because The Patriot's badass. This movie, I mean,
So he's not badass in this movie?
no, he's not. In fact, he
But
believes he was
is he hot in this
Yes,
movie?
he believes he's miscast in it, and actually, I was reading more stories behind the scenes, and he wanted to make it because he wanted to prove that because he wanted to be an American citizen, and so he made it. He's like, I can play an American, but he was really miscast, and not that he's really bad in it, but he's really like yelling in it throughout the whole thing, and he's really excited, and
the intensity's misplaced.
yeah, and so the story is he's from the backwoods of Virginia. and he wears like buckskins, and the girl he's interested in is from high society.
Yeah.
And they end up getting married, and so their cultures are constantly clashing.
Right. Yeah, this is not Cary Grant's wheelhouse.
No, so and then of course her family is sides with, they're loyalists, so they side with the British, and then his friends are the rough and tumble people from Virginia, and
let me guess, they all sound like they're from Brooklyn.
I mean, there's some great moments in it when she goes to the house the first time, and they're all like living out of a log cabin and drinking and eating food. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's just not his best. I still think it's better than Night and Day. Just Night and Day is too boring.
How does so? I've never seen this one, although I've heard stories about it. Does he attempt to do is it still his kind of like teetering accent, or does he try to do something Virginian?
He does do an accent in there, but it's not noticeable because he does it throughout the whole film.
So it's this is why I love this period of time that you and I get to talk about, because it's the only time where an actor can do whatever accent they want and it doesn't matter. Humphrey Bogart plays a French person in Passage to Marseille, and it literally sounds like a Bronx freshman. It's weird as shit, and I love it.
Yeah, the movie's really well done, and then the actual when they start getting into the war is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But just takes a little bit to get there, and it's not a bad movie. It's just maybe not a Cary Grant movie.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. Where someone maybe Bogart actually would probably be a lot better in the role.
All right, now we're gonna go take on them redcoats.
Yeah, but he also has a son who is born with a limp, and so he's really mean to his kid.
Played by Heath Ledger as well.
Yes, and then he has another son who's not, and he's really athletic, and it's really weird.
Such is some of the case of those war movies back then.
Yeah, I mean, it is all right.
Yeah.
I also watched That Touch of Mink, which is Cary Grant and Doris Day.
Oh, yeah.
And in it, Cary Grant plays this ad executive who just likes to have fun. Doris Day is an unemployed woman who's looking for a husband.
Oh, Mad Men.
Yeah. And so at the beginning of the movie, Cary Grant's limousine drives by her and splashes her with water. And he feels bad, so he sends his lackey across the street to buy her a new dress or pay for the dry cleaning. And she says, well, if he wants to apologize, he can apologize to me himself. And she goes on this tirade and says, okay, go tell him. And then she falls in love with him because he comes out in a suit and he's rich and he's Cary Grant.
Fair.
Fair. And so she's struggling with it because he invites her to all these places, and then she realizes...
Isn't she married?
No, she's not married in this movie.
I thought you said she was looking for her husband.
She's looking for a husband.
Oh, is he dead?
Oh, she's looking for a husband, not her husband.
Oh, okay. Semantics.
Stay here. So eventually he takes her to somewhere in France, like a beach in France, and they go into the room and there's only one bed. So that's what they're there for. So it's actually pretty funny. They're going through dinner and
50
they go
Shades of Grey over here.
Yeah. So they're going to dinner and out on town, and everywhere she looks she just sees the bed because she knows that they're not wearing a wedding ring, and it's really silly. It's one of his lighter comedies where there's not a lot of weight being carried by anybody. It's just them having fun. It's a fun movie. Again, not one of his better ones, but still fun. I mean, I'll watch it again because it's fun.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
That's right. And it seems that in this era of Cary Grant, late 50s into the 60s, he kind of has played
He runs into the same problem that every actor who was big in the 30s and 40s does, which is you're transitioning popularity over to a younger generation, and the times are changing very quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, the movie's still fun, and he ages a lot better than some of the other ones. I think because he knows what he wants to be. And I mean, I just got a biography on him. I'm interested to read it because I from what I know of him, he's really set on what he wants to be. And even at that time, so he wouldn't take a role unless he felt that.
So was Charade toward the end of his career?
Charade was, I think, his fourth last movie.
Okay. Because I know he has a lot of gray hair in it.
Yeah, so Charade was 64? 63 or 64?
60s is definitely.
And his last movie, actually, I have it. It's I haven't watched it yet. It's called Walk, Don't Run. I know that's 66. And then he did Father Goose, then Walk, Don't Run. So yeah, he's almost done by then. And the last one I watched was Destination Tokyo. Cary Grant plays a submarine captain, and they have a top secret mission that they don't even know until they're 24 hours outside of California. And the mission is they have to go pick up a meteorologist in Tokyo Bay, and they have to do it through a submarine. And the movie is actually really, really good because it's like 2 hours 15 minutes long. Mm-hmm. But in it, I mean, Cary Grant's in it a lot. Obviously, he's the star, but they also break away to the crew, and they all have these stories. And the guy named Wolf is really funny because he always has a story about how he's trying to pick up women. And then
a lot of those on a submarine.
Yeah, and then there's and he sleeps with a doll, and it tells this really funny story. He has this like big size like
what? He sleeps with a doll?
Yeah, so there's this big size like Barbie in a kind of.
It was the 40s. They all did
in a bikini, and they go.
How big of a doll are we talking here?
And I don't know, it's like 18 inches, and they say. So his guy's like, why do you have that? He's like, because I take it out. She goes out with me in town. And he's like, why do you do that? He said, because when I sit down and a girl comes up to me, she's like, can't you do any better? He's like, I don't know. Can I get your number? And it's like, it's really dorky, like 40s humor.
That's weird, adorable.
And then it's interspersed, though, too, with because you start to really like these guys. Mm-hmm. And then they're attacked at one point by Japanese planes, and one of them dies in like a really...
John Garfield, that's right.
in a really like gruesome way. And then it's how they develop the bond, and it's actually pretty intense because they have to go through the Tokyo Bay without getting detected, and they do some pretty cool miniature work in it. I mean, if you like war movies and
do I?
Yeah, and you know can stand 1940 films, and this is a really good one. It's not quite like I like Father Goose a little more because it's a little more fun, but this is if you want a serious. Cary Grant.
Propaganda.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like that. I mean, it's really like, look at the boys here loading up the, because they even have that opening where it's like, sending out secret codes across the Atlantic or the Pacific.
I watched that with Passage to Marseille. They were like, there's a whole prologue about how the Free French are badass, which I'm like, yes, they are. I don't need a reminder. Just get to the movie.
So it's pretty good.
I haven't seen that movie in a while, but like I remember looking at it now. Alan Hale Sr., who plays Cookie. Mm-hmm. He was Friar Tuck in Errol Flynn's Robin Hood, and also Friar Tuck in Douglas Fairbanks' Robin Hood, and then Friar Tuck again in another Robin Hood thing in the 50s.
Yeah, I mean the movie's really really well acted. It's really good. You should definitely check it. If you're interested in that stuff or golden era war movies. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
I am.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it. This week on Real Nerds Podcast. We went and saw Captain Marvel. Yeah. Brad, should people see Captain Marvel?
Yeah, they should see Captain Marvel. I'm just kind of on the middle on the road of this because, like, the first half of the movie, I was very kind of confused, and I thought the pacing was odd and the editing was not quite there. But it really kind of comes together by the end. And also, I didn't feel like, as a character... I didn't feel like she was the star of her own movie until the end. She kind of felt along for the ride, which kind of makes sense for the story, but also like as far as like empowering women, like I don't know beyond that she's powerful and that she used to be a pilot, like personality-wise, like I don't get a sense. Like I was comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy, where like Peter Quill like has all the best jokes, and he has like this affinity for 70s, 80s music. But Carol's just kind of like, I was a pilot once, and that's kind of the extent of my personality, and I'm stoic. Like, she's not a goofball. She doesn't have a lot of good one-liners. Cringe shaking her head. I will literally, like, she maybe has, like, 3, like, one-liners. Not that interesting. So, but other than that, like, and also there's a lot of stuff, it feels like it's just tying it into the next movie. Because it feels like a little fillery for me, so...
Zach?
I really liked Marvel's version of I Love the 90s. I thought it was a really great tribute to a wonderful era in time. No, I think you should go see Captain Marvel. I really like this movie a lot. I'm not in agreement with you, Brad. I think Carol Danvers has a wonderful character that I really enjoyed watching. She has a moment at the beginning of the film that really endeared me to her because for the first 10 to 15 minutes, I was getting a bit like okay, where are we going? And then it kind of kicked for me a little bit with something she does and also something the story does. So I think you should go see it. I think Sam Jackson's CGI thing's great in it, as is Clark Gregg's, although we'll talk about his haircut too. I really liked Ben Mendelsohn in this film a lot. I think Ben Mendelsohn is the secret, one of two secret joys in this film. The other one comes from Carol Danvers' friend, but yeah, I think you should go see it. Bowden and Fleck did a great job.
Corinne?
It's fine. No, oh my gosh. Other than the 25 minutes of previews I had to sit through, this movie was amazing. Everybody needs to go see it. And actually, I think you should go see it multiple times because that's what I did. Full disclosure, I saw this movie twice.
Nice.
I saw it on Thursday at the fan event, and then I saw it last night at the AMC on Bowls. And seeing it a second time, I think it helped me process it more because don't want to give away too much, but let's just say once you've seen it, you're like, okay, now you know full context of what's going on. So when you go back and you watch the beginning, you're like, oh, they were setting that up the whole time. That's why people do these things and go to these places and whatever. So I think it's worth seeing multiple times. It's a great movie. I had a great time. It made me want to go out and kick some Skrull butt at the end.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm in that boat too. I'm a huge Carol Danvers fan. I have a lot of her comics. I have them all from.
I have a lot of her comics.
When they switched over to when she became Captain Marvel, Avenging Spider-Man #9. When they switched over that, I'm like, I like this character. So then I started getting all her stuff. Her early stuff is really hard to find when she's Miss Marvel. But I really love this movie because I knew where it was going, and if you've read her early stuff, she didn't know. So it basically blending two stories here. So when she was in Miss Marvel, she didn't know that she was Miss Marvel. So they're kind of blending. She didn't know. So she would pass out and become Miss Marvel and do all these wonderful things, and then she'd come back to being Carol. And then Kelly Sue DeConnick kind of went through and changed her to an Air Force pilot, made her, kind of a badass. And yeah, I just love seeing stuff like this again because as you grow up with this stuff or you love this stuff, you never think it'd be so accepted because I mean you're watching a woman who
is it really accepted?
Well, that's a super small minority of people. It's a woman who absorbs power and can shoot laser beams and stuff
out her fists.
Out of her fists.
And awesome.
Yeah, Sam Jackson is amazing in this film. And his CGI, you can't even tell. I think it's astounding.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should see it. And here's the trailer for Captain Marvel.
So Skrulls are the bad guys. And you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Heroes. Noble warrior heroes.
Your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you. With no memory, we made you one of us. So you could live longer, stronger, superior. You were reborn.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Would you like to know what you really are?
I think I had a life here. What aren't you telling me?
You've come a long way, but you're not as strong as you think. This war is just the beginning.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute? I'll be back.
So I predicted correctly that cat was going to be a very important, and also could have separated out into its own little adventure with Sam Jackson.
Yeah, so in the comics, the cat is named Chewie, and
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So I kind
Same
of
Goose in the movie, right?
yeah, it's Goose
Yeah.
in the movie because
Yeah.
it's playing on Tom Cruise movie.
Some kind of copyright issue.
That's weird that they would change it.
My guess because Chewie is Star Wars, maybe.
But
They
Disney
own-
owns Star
yeah.
Wars.
Yeah, I know.
But Disney doesn't own Top Gun. It's really weird.
But I mean, it makes more sense for her. It's the pilot. She's in Top Gun, basically.
Yeah.
But
And just to be clear, we're in spoiler territory now for the listeners. So don't listen to this
Yeah.
anymore. if you
Mallrats
haven't
is
seen
officially
it.
part of the MCU, guys.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
Top Gun's Paramount, so like
it is.
it's weird that they own Chewie, but they went to Paramount to get
Yeah.
Goose, which they're both co-pilots at.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know.
Weird.
But so yeah, I cried in the first 10 seconds when it's that Marvel logo goes. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's just Stan Lee cameos everywhere. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I both cried and it also started giggling uncontrollably,
yeah.
going like, "This is amazing!"
It was. I hope they never change it. I would love it just to be Stan Lee constantly.
I think they might just keep it through the whole year.
Maybe. They'll probably change it.
Get a
for
great
Avengers.
impressionist to do the Marvel theme as Stan Lee, just going like dun 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 dun.
And so yeah, I mean in the film, Veers is a Kree warrior, and she's with what is I forget. It's Jan Gore, I think.
Jan Rog.
Jan Rog, and they're part of an elite fighting team that go wipe
Kree
out.
Star Force.
Yeah, it's Kree Star Force that go and fight the Skrulls because they're involved in a huge war that's been going on for a long time. You can read it in the comics called the Kree and Skull War.
I was very confused by that opening mission, like what the person they were trying to get was supposed to.
He
It was
like
a
a-
Kree spy
yeah.
infiltrating the Skrulls.
Yeah.
But it
So-
was an ambush. The Skrulls knew about it. They had already gotten the spy, had masqueraded as the spy, and then captured Carol, or Veers.
Okay.
Because remember, they need Carol for what they explained about an hour and a half later in the film.
Right. Which that's something I appreciated about that this film is that it because I knew we were getting an origin story. I liked that they kind of
did
like drop you in with very little knowledge in a disorienting fashion, and then slowly build the piece back together throughout the film. I enjoyed that aspect of this, and I mean there's something that she does when they're probing her mind in that Kree or in that Skrull encampment that I really love. Like she's fighting the Skrulls, and at one point I was like, is she gonna be like? She seems kind of just like too serious and whatnot. And she's fighting one of the Skrulls, and she punches one. He like does a little Skrull cry or whatever, and she just goes, and then punches her. I was like, oh, I love this character. She's so awesome. I want to see her keep doing things. Like she just like got in the face of that Skrull. I really liked it, and then she goes down to Earth.
Yeah. It's she goes to Earth and because she's looking for Dr. Lawson, who was played by Annette Bening, who developed something that the Skrulls want, and
looking great in a leather jacket, by the way.
Yeah. And then she meets Sam Jackson and Agent Coulson.
Yeah, I feel about the time, like, I kind of agree with Brad. The first time I saw it, that first sequence, like, up to when the Skrulls capture her and they're doing, like, the mind recovery thing, and then, like, once she gets down to Earth, like, I feel like the story picks up a lot.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they're asking a lot of the audience because
They don't spend a lot of time with
No.
the exposition. It goes very fast.
For comic people, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. We're already in the middle of the Kree Skrull War that's already been waging on, and
but someone like me who's completely
Yeah,
unfamiliar
no,
with this, I was just like, what?
So,
Yeah,
so
I
like
get
I have zero to none knowledge of Captain Marvel other than Nick Fury, and so I don't understand because I was on board for the ride pretty much from moment one because I kind of liked being able to experience the world as it unfolded for me and kind of just pick things up where I go
And
along.
I love too that Sam Jackson he wasn't Nick Fury like we know him. He's kind of like a cool Nick Fury. because I love the.
He doesn't seem as jaded.
Yeah,
he still runs like a 70-year-old man, though. He is not running nimbly.
No, that's all right. But like, I love when they're sitting and they're about to go into the place where Dr. Lawson's supposed to be at, and he says, "My friends call me Fury, and my mom calls me Fury. And if I have kids, they're going to call me Fury." It's just like so stupid.
And
but
then when
awesome.
he's in the elevator with the Skrull guy, he's like, he responds to him as Nick or something. He's that look of like, "What'd you just call me?"
Yeah,
and that's what leads him to do the little security question.
But before that, I have questions of. So when they're doing the autopsy room, and that's the first time you see like the humanoid his boss, like how did they not like? Don't they know who their bosses are?
What?
Wait, what?
Wait, who knows whose bosses are?
Nick Fury and.
Oh, how does he not know that Ben Mendelsohn's character replaced his actual boss with that Kree with a Skrull?
Well, that's part of the Skrulls like thing is they can infiltrate anybody.
Yeah,
So
they
he
can
says, like,
sim.
Yeah.
Like your more recent memories. That's what they were
so
talking about.
so at that time they probably didn't have anything of past value to discuess. But then when they're in the elevator, that's when he's probing the past. Because they only have like memory for up to like what, like literally just like a week of time.
And then Carol, like she finds her way to that bar, but then Nick Fury's just there.
Because he got a description of the motorcycle thief.
I guess I must have missed that part.
Yeah.
Also,
He says that,
shown up.
he says that in the autopsy room.
We've never had a problem with Nick Fury showing up whenever. How did he get to the fucking farm like just in time to talk to the Avengers in Age of Ultron? Like
He's
it's
Nick
similar.
Fury.
Yeah, exactly. He's just Nick Fury. There's some things you just need to let go of.
You know, I love the story how he lost his eye.
Yeah.
Because I love when Coulson comes into his office and like, wow, you really lost your eye. Well, the Krees were, like hollowing it out or something? It really got it scratched off by a cat.
It called back Winter Soldier very well because the line in Winter Soldier, "Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye."
Yep, good stuff.
And Coulson has one of my favorite lines in the movie, though. So in the scene after like they confront her at the blockbuster, it turns into a car chase down the road, or like that goes through the trains and then down like the highways. And Coulson and Jackson get in the car and they drive for a while, and then at one point Fury answers the phone and it's Coulson, and he says like, "Hey guys, I'm still at the blockbuster. Where is everyone?" And I was just like, isolate that moment there, and that's been my entire childhood, wondering where my parents were. Guys, I'm still at the blockbuster. And then and that Stan Lee cameo is
it's money.
I mean, you texted me saying I think Kevin Smith probably cried, and I'm like, yeah, he probably did. And then you sent me that confirmation later of just Kevin Smith looking like a puppy dog who's got lost.
Yeah.
But it's weird that like, they put him in that, and they didn't like they just used like 95-year-old Stan Lee when like in '96 he like he still had color in his hair and he had like the ascot and everything.
I was reading the Hollywood Reporter with the directors about that, and they added the part where Carol pulls down the script and she looks at him, she adds that like little smile and looks at him for a little bit, kind of like aw, and so it was great. And that was a great moment. And then she just walks up and punches a Skrull old lady. Love it.
It's wonderful. And I liked how they actually added the whole Ronan and Djimon Hounsou character back into there. Because like I knew that they were going to be in it, but I was like, well, they're going to be the same things as Ronan. I knew obviously, but was Djimon Hounsou going to be the same guy from Djimon Hounsou was going to be the same one from Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's apparent that he is.
Well, yeah, and the Ronan the Accuser. I mean, because obviously I'm going to guess that the next Captain Marvel movie is going to be the Kree Skrull War, and he plays a pretty big part in that. Because I mean, even says in I think it's Avengers. Or no, I mean Guardians of the Galaxy, that he's just going to wipe them all out, and he wiped them all out. So, it's.
Or did he?
Well, are they going to set up Secret Invasion? Because that would be awesome.
I also like the moment where after she landed in the blockbuster, she thinks she hears something, she destroys, and then she just destroys that True Lies standee and just blows Schwarzenegger's head off, leaving Jamie Lee Curtis's. Goes out to the car and she goes like, "Where can I find communication devices?" The cop just points to Radio Shack.
It's and there's moments that to me, like like I shed another tear in this moment because I love the character of Carol Danvers. Is when she figures out who she is and people trying to hold her down, and then the montages of her getting back up over and over and over again.
Oh yeah,
and then she just smokes the superior intelligence. It's awesome.
I love the line when she's fighting Jude Law at the end in the desert. It's like, I don't need to prove anything to you, or
Hell
and then also the scene between her and her friend from the Air Force. I cannot remember her name.
Maria Rambo.
Maria Rambo. Yeah,
Rambo.
That scene. It's the one moment in this otherwise very Marvel movie where it stops and becomes an independent film for about 5 minutes, where they just talk about like what it's like to lose, like losing you, or like finding out that you're an alien warrior is not the hard part right here. The hard part was knowing that my friend was gone or dead and having to deal with that. I love that scene so much. It's great.
When I saw that the first time, I was kind of surprised they didn't do a flashback, because she asked, like, what did I do that morning, or what happened that day, and so Maria like goes through and like tells her about part of the day that happened up to before the crash.
And it's a smart choice not to show flashback because it shows the power of the performance of that moment
and their connection and friendship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I say, it becomes an indie film for 5 minutes. It's pretty wonderful.
Yeah, and this part where she's like, I don't have anything to prove to you. I think Jude Law is really great at that moment because you can see that he's afraid and he doesn't know what she's going to do to him. And then she's like, nope, you can go tell him I'm coming for him.
It reminded me of the end of Iron Man 3 when Guy Pearce is like, I am the Mandarin.
It's awesome.
And then, the Protector Initiative. Nah, that's stupid. The Avenger Initiative.
So actually,
the first Avenger.
When I saw that the second time, so when they're in the the archive room, her and Fury, and they're looking through the profile of the Dr. Lawson, and there is that photo that she looks at where she sees her in the background with her plane, and it does say, you can see part of the word Avenger and then Danvers. So it's like, okay, so they didn't just hammer that in. Like, they set that up.
Yep.
Do you think Nick Fury just couldn't choose an eye? Like, he was that picky about it? Or it's like, I don't know.
Maybe he just thought it looked
It's got to be a
badass.
tough choice. Like, I always wonder how Sammy Davis Jr. did it. And so, it's a great movie. I enjoyed it.
So what's the Fonz lunchbox made out of that the Tesseract doesn't just burn a hole through it?
Industrial war metal.
You just watch Captain America; it burns through
Well,
the ship.
that's
and
because
falls to the ocean.
they were using it, though. Wasn't the Red Skull using it? I can't remember now.
So it's like...
I guess because if it heats up, because he had it was powering something in the airplane.
Yeah, because then otherwise it would have, because it was being held at the time in a tomb.
Yeah.
That, at the beginning,
In
Odin's
the
treasure
tomb,
room.
it was held in... What was he holding? Is this like a wooden box, I think, in the tomb?
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, because it's I think it's just if it's activated or if it's, doing something.
Yeah.
I was just, whenever people hold it, because I remember Peter Quill had to when that stone it almost everyone else burned up.
But the Tesseract looks like it's covered up in
that was the Power Stone, though, right? I mean, isn't the whole point of the Power Stone is that it's supposed to only certain people can hold it without incinerating?
Yeah, and the Tesseract also looks like it's covered by a bunch of blue crystal shit or whatever, to make it a box.
Because the Tesseract is space, right? So it's probably
the space stone.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Ryan.
Sure.
Why were some of the Kree human looking, like Jude Law's character, but then others had green skin?
I don't know if that's ever explained. I mean, my guess would be it's because just with Carol, they just take them from places and indoctor them into the Kree way of thinking. Would be my guess.
Humans have different color skin.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's ever been explained. If there is,
and they're all the same on the inside.
Blue. Yeah, I'm not as big into Marvel cosmic stuff. I like Captain Marvel and a couple Silver Surfer and stuff, but I don't know Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy I know never had Peter Quill in it. It was really horrible characters from Marvel team up with Spider-Man. So I don't know. It's a good question.
Maybe Jude Law and Jimon Hansu just were we're not getting in the green face paint.
They're these guys are too handsome. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
I was an Alfie. I'm not doing this.
He's a good actor.
I liked how that would be the one he'd pull. I was in the Alfie remake.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really
What's
good
next
movie.
week?
I don't know.
What is
Yep.
next week?
Something.
It's not us. That's
No.
week after.
I guess we didn't get around to How to Train Your Dragon 3,
Yeah, we do that or something.
Yeah, or fighting with my family.
Yeah, we do fighting with our family.
which you already reviewed.
Yeah, but I could always talk about it more in depth.
Yep, we'll figure something out like we always do.
Sweet.
Corinne, as always, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
sporting
me
a
on,
sweet
guys.
ass shirt.
Yeah. Captain Marvel. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I do want to say one other quick tidbit that I noticed the second time around is, so Maria, when she goes to visit her, she's like, yeah, you always like woke me up at the butt crack of dawn. And then, like, at the beginning, that's when she wakes up Jude Law's character. Is it very early in the morning? So it's like,
yeah.
even though
That's
she
a nice
had her
character
memories
moment.
erased,
Yeah.
she still is the same person.
It's awesome.
And I honestly like wonder because when they do like that whole fight sequence there at the beginning where he's like training her and he's like, you need to control your emotions. I'm like, I wonder if it's because her emotions are tied to her memories. Like, if she gets really emotional, like she'll start remembering stuff. So that's why he doesn't. Like their whole interaction at the very beginning, when you see it the second time, you're like, oh, that's why he says that. That's why he asks her about like, oh, did you see anything new in your dream? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you need to control your emotions and you need to like
Well, yeah,
tamp
because you can
down
see
your
they're
power
manipulating him
and-
too. Because remember, her memory of it is a scroll.
Right.
Attacking her and killing Marvell. But
Mm-hmm.
If I had nothing but the Space Invaders game, for 6 years, I'd have a high score too.
Her
It's a good
kid figured out how
movie.
to operate that color changing device pretty quick.
yeah.
Maybe it's like a telepathic thing.
Or you mean if you
who
look at
cares?
when she's moving it, you can see the colors light up.
Or this is a movie and none of this stuff is actually real.
It is real. It
In our
matters-
hearts,
It matters
but-
to me.
Okay,
That's all that matters.
that's true.
So yeah.
If
Thank
the
you,
worst
Stan.
thing I can say about the movie is that sometimes the effects looked weird, then that's still a pretty good movie.
They looked like a Marvel movie.
See movies.
Yeah,
We'll
they're-
be there
They're good.
sometime next week.
Right.
Yep. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.